what you did to that guy.
Yeah.
Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy Joey Dang Options, and I'm Sharif. And shout out to the OGs already with us in the chat. Shout out to Darwin, Armando Trejo. We got Mr. Adam Dang Duluce, my man there. JF Trader, Matthew Booth, ADO, Black Hawk, JP. Tisha, yes, let's go, Tisha. Proper Dang Paradox and Mohammed Mukati. We got Odyssey Fights. How about the Skip, Satan Low, Phi Soul, Bren Rex, Charlie Taff, The Piper, Vern, Bora Hut, and Stewart. How about Rainmaker and Livo Roca? We got Calvin, GL, and Xiaobo. My bad. Trader Forever, Trader Life, Matt G, Carlos, Cammy B, BP, The Dang Kid, and Jose Rodriguez. Did you know? If you don't know, now you know. Sucker! We got Day Trader Cut, we got Anish, we got Jacques, we got Mr. Ian, wow. Sir Poppy, Poopy Paper Hands, Sir Poopy Paper Hands, screenshot, love. Control-Shift-S, highlight, and paste. Vivid Distortions. We got Dude Rocks 420 and Mary. Not Mary S. Lyman, Mary. Nephew with a capital P. Ginvesting and Gotham House. How about Martin J. and Scott J? Who else we got? Butterbags, Mr. Taranga Sama. Probably butchered that. I apologize. Ned Rocks XRP. XRP had a good headwind yesterday. Tailwind, I mean. And one more. Jordy VWAP. Shout out to everybody joining.
Jordy VWAP. I like that one. Jordy VWAP.
Why? What was so pumped about that? Because it has VWAP?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I know you like your VWAP. I like VWAP too.
Yeah, we're simple people, man. You throw VWAP in there, you get a couple extra bangs. But guys, don't forget.
You have the option to like and subscribe.
What is this, bro? This guy's already got his thing lined up. Mine is still getting edited. All right.
Make sure you like that.
Okay.
Whose accent is annoying? We are Canadian. Of course, we're going to have accents if you are from America. We're not going to sound the same. And if everybody sounded the same, what fun would the world be, right? Come on. We don't want any of that.
Varaha Mahir. Yeah. You're this close. This close. I don't mean you personally like this. I mean you're about to get blocked. So watch out, boy.
We like the...
a little innuendo there in your endo.
Yeah. Don't come to our endo. Anyways, guys, good times here as always, so keep those good vibes rolling. Let's go, Dewey. Yes, exactly. VST Toronto, visit Toronto. I hope that's what that means. But here we go, guys. Let's see what we got cooking up here on the day. Trading some Tesla. Katina Man's short Tesla. Okay. But this is just a scenario. Oh, okay, you said not us, not the Canadian. All right, the other guy.
No take back.
All right, yeah, no take back, Sharif says, so that's okay. So guys, let's see what we got going on. He's only joking. But anyways, let's see what we got going on here, guys, on Tesla. You know Katina Man's short, but this is how two traders can make money. One short, one's long. We attempted the first long, got stopped out at the break of this low, but then we hopped right back in, add, initial starting position, add, and then we just climb it all the way up the old Tesla ladder here, guys. And you know what? People are like, Joe, let me know when you're selling because I'm buying. But guys, guess what? Yeah, Tesla's up there, but I'm also in Hood from 40. We're trading at 50s. We're in Amazon from 95. We're at 205. Like, come on. If you want to know what I'm buying, I'll tell you guys. So those trades are working out. We got a lesson. We're going to go to Sharif. But first, Adara, guys.
Great push here to the upside for UAA. I put this headline on the screen. It wasn't moving much now, but certainly pushed to the upside here about 5 minutes ago or so. This started circulating here on X that Under Armour has or is returning here as the official footwear and glove licensee for the NFL. So UAA, about a $6 ticker, certainly a smaller ticker to trade here on the midday potentially, as we hear that they're going to be returning as the NFL's official footwear and glove licensee. Back to you.
Great headline there. Thank you for that, Adara. Another thing to look at during the day. Joseph, do you have anything you want to mention before I show them the small cap?
Tell me what you got going on, brother.
Here we go. So it's a kind of a light day. I see that there is a new one that just weaseled its way into a halt. It goes by the ticker EHLD. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off, who are we going to take off here? BBAI is breaking down. So EHLD is going to make its way onto the scene. Oh, baby. That is what we call a direct move to the high side. This one looks like a multiple halter. Just getting eyes on this now. So this is the third up halt here for EHLD. It's only done about 661,000 shares. It's halted at 919, 82% in the clear, 86 cents open. That means it started out the day in the red. So let's throw out the ticker there for everyone. We're just going to cover this one super quick, and then we're going to get on to the other ones. Just want to flip to the one to see how many times this one halted. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. We'll see when it reopens. DATS, that's the one I'm involved in right now, a VWAP retracement, super tight stop below the $0.50. This one does look like it may be primed for a flat bottom break. I'm going to try to scalp possibly into the 70s and 80s before that flat bottom break. We'll see if that happens or not. DATS. RAY, R-A-Y, a holdover from a few days ago. You can kind of see it was running yesterday. And on Friday, I believe, RAY below VWAP at 195. It'll have to get above there for me to trade it. ANTM suffers from the same affliction. It is trading below the volume weighted average price. VWAP right at that $2 area. So there is confluence between psychological support possibly and that volume weighted average price. POAI, another holdover. I think from a few days ago. No, maybe that's not accurate. Anyway, this one is below the pre-market high. I was talking to somebody in the chat about this, and they were like, hey, it keeps dropping. I'm like, brother, you got to keep an eye on that pre-market high, and there it is, right at 755. We made that 285 high, and we have not broken it since then. So this one's on my S list until and if it takes out that level. DJT, we're going to keep on there because it has a headline. Likewise with IOBT, which is putting in a hell of a pattern, just suffers from an affliction, lacking volume. So we'll have to see, Joseph, if we can extract anything on that one. Those are the 8 I'm keeping my eye on, and we'll see what the day brings us. What do you got, brother?
Hey, yeah, good look there. Adam DeLuce, we'll talk a little bit about that later, my friend. But the Amazon working out really nice. We like those calls. That's working. Robinhood too, guys. But here we go. Let's get into this lesson. I think it's really important. And if you guys have a moment before we hop into the lesson, I want you to pull up the Palantir chart on the 5-minute. And I want you to identify that 5-minute candle at that low. And that's a really good hammer doji. That ship has unfortunately sailed. I'm pretty sure Katina Man's long from there as well too. But this is what we are going to be looking for on a day-to-day basis. And these they display themselves, these signals display themselves multiple times throughout the day. Well, not every day, but a lot, and they happen more frequently than what you suspect. And that's like Los Polios in the chat, Gorav, and a couple of my other trading buddies in there. They're all looking for these signals, and I think they're really, really important. So correlating volume and price here, guys. So understanding the correlation between volume by time and price is a key aspect to multiple time frames of trading. Intraday, swing trading, and even longer term investing. There are multiple ways to analyze these two fundamental metrics in trading. So key terms that we're going to focus on are referred to as something we would like to refer to as a genuine move, all right, and what we like to call a volume price anomaly, all right? So within the terminology, we are also going to break down what cause and effect are. You heard me use these terms before, and what cause and effect are of price and volume movement, as well as effort and result, okay? After the candles and volumes, bars have been printed. So effort and result is really, really important. And it's going to help you be able to display multiple signals, whether it be a VWAP hold, a topping, and or a bottoming signal. All right. So yeah, Crypto Kennedy, love trading volume. It's key. It's one of the biggest metrics to day trading. And understanding that can only benefit your game. All right. So the length of any wick, either at the top or bottom of the candle print, is a must when it comes to focusing on VPA. This reveals impending strength, weakness, and indecision. most importantly, the extent of associated market sentiment, okay? If no wick is created, then this can signal strong market sentiment in the direction of the closing candle, whether it be bearish or bullish, all right? A candle of the same type will have a completely different meaning depending on where it prints on your chart. So location, location, location is key, as they would like to say in real estate there, Sharif.
Love it,
so,
dog.
yeah,
Love it, love it.
exactly. So location of these signals is really, really important. Volume can confirm price. Start with the price action candle, then base the thesis and look for genuine moves or anomalies. All right, guys. So look at the 5-minute doji on AVGO. Yep, for sure. I'll take a look at that. Sorry, Marcus, but first what we're going to look for is something called a genuine move, and this is what we want to be able to identify. All right, so if we come over here to my left, maybe your right, well, I don't know, but here we go. You can see the amount of volume, all right? And this is where we go into the effort and result phase of day trading. So from an effort standpoint, we want to use the volume by time profile. So that's just volume. There's volume by price and there's volume by time. And this is with each interval of candles, all right? So this is what we want to focus on. And then you see that effort, that you see that large amount of volume, and that it's reciprocated in the price action print right here as well too. So you can see the reflection from the effort in the result of that candle. And the same thing here, a nice strong bullish candle here, guys, and you see that volume supporting it. That is very key, and that is what we can classify as a genuine move, all right? So now we're going to look over here on my right side of the chart, and you can see the volume start to dwindle off here. Very important, and you see the effort within these candle prints, all right? So low effort, low result. This is something that you want to be able to gauge and look for on a day-to-day basis, because if you see a larger print and low volume, that can possibly lead to fake breakouts, especially where location is key at support and resistance zones. This Blackhawk, this is a 1 minute time frame, okay? 1 minute, all right? So you get that detailed aspect in these prints, okay? So here's an anomaly, all right? And this is what I was referring to earlier. So you see a low volume print, but a large price action print, okay? And the same thing goes, you see a small price action print and high volume print. That can signal, hey, what's going on here? Is more volume gonna step in? And are we gonna head into the direction of where that volume stepped in? And the exact same thing with the lower side. Oh, okay, I'm at a resistance zone. We have this large engulfing candle, but there's no volume supporting it. What's going on? And then next thing you know, you're caught in a false breakout. Okay, so those are things that we want to focus on. So candlesticks and price action bars can print countless ways. We previously went over basic prints. Here are some of the additional candlestick prints we want to continue to monitor and analyze. Now, this is the most important in my opinion. When I refer to location, these are the prints that you want to be able to identify. Now, they can be green as well, right? It doesn't matter. I'm just using this as an example. But you can see that there's no buying pressure, selling pressure, remaining. This is a strong candle. This is a hammer candle or a shooting star, whatever you would like to refer it, or a gravestone over here. And this could be a gravestone as well. There's so many names to these indecision prints. It's just the location of them and then the volume backing them as well. So let's go over some live examples and what we're looking for. All right, so here's an example from Google yesterday. Now you can see that we have a trend recovering to the top side. And then we got that print that I just identified you right at the volume weighted average price. And this is where I refer to location is key. All right, we don't want to focus on things in the middle of the range, all right? We don't want the middle of the range. We want them at either highs, lows, or around the volume weighted average price. Yes, you can identify them in other locations, but we're focusing on these three right now. Just have the ability to hone in on these, perfect those signals, and then you can look for other instances as well. So this is a good example here on Alphabet. You have a nice strong trend to the top side, blowing through the 5-minute opening range. You now get that pullback on lower volume, which we will also correlate on later, right? So you can see that the volume, as we appreciate in price, is ascending. But then as we start to pull back, you see that volume really start to dwindle, and then you get that indecision print at a key level in the underlying asset. All right, here's another great example of Google from a couple days ago. All right, so the exact same thing, but one thing to note here, guys, is look at that isolated volume signature. This can signal, hey, we're ready to turn around. There's no buying pressure. This closes as a true hammer doji at a low, and you have that volume price supporting that. And look what happens when you break the top side of this. Again, this is what Los Polios, Gorev, and I are constantly looking at from a day-to-day basis. And then your thesis is essentially wrong at the break of that low, all right? So this is what we can classify as stopping volume. All right, and here's some more examples. We're going to take a break here. There's a lot more to cover. We're going to see what Sharif is cooking up. We're going to see what Tesla's up to if this is a potential ad, but we're about halfway done this lesson, and there's going to be some more key examples, guys, on what's going on here in VPA land.
MLGO is squeezing. I was just talking to Neil about this, guys. MLGO is moving. Tisha, shout out to Tisha. It's halted. I'm seeing MLGO halted. 15.98. My move on MLGO was super simple. It had to take out the previous day high for me to get involved. Who are we going to take off here? Donald Trump might lose a spot over here. No, PSTV is a flaming piece of whatever. So we're going to put in MLGO. A holdover from yesterday, and there's the alert that I had. I didn't want to get into MLGO with possible bag holders. I kind of look at the aftermarket high from yesterday as very similar to the pre-market high from this morning, in the sense that I don't want to have to deal with people who punched in long or short sellers that are using the high of day to keep the stock down. So my thesis was look for that 16.5 break, at least where I put my alert anyway, for the break of that high. So then once we approach that high, or if we break that high on a thrust upwards, then I can get involved there. That was my thinking. Obviously, it's not a foolproof plan because this thing squeezed up dollars, baby, dollars. We're talking about a flat top break here through 1260, 1250. It was an ascending wedge, higher lows with that flat top reject initially at 1010. You get another rejection 1025, another rejection 1035, even another one at 11, but that was the end of the rejection. She said yes on that fourth attempt there. It went right through that level, 1250, and now we're halted essentially at 16 bucks. 15.98 technically the breach there, or the halt there. So I'm going to be keeping my eye right now absolutely on MLGO. Again, a holdover from yesterday. It had a fantastic price action move. Basically, guys, from 4 a.m. to the high that we made, I think, at 440, we were up almost 600% on MLGO yesterday from top to bottom. From 4 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. there. 600%, a little bit less than that. So let's put some dang respect on this one's name, and let's see if we can put in that higher high. That higher high, obviously, has to come above that $17 break and take. So I'm all ears, eyes, and whatever else for MLGO. It will be certainly on watch. Now, I'm involved in another name right here, RAY. It's doing the dance with no pants with the volume-weighted average price. It's going to have to hold up above VWAP. I haven't had any prints on it right now. I'm 2 pennies out of the money currently, showing me 03s. I'm long 05s, okay? And then the other one that we talked about, the one that halted now down, EHLD. This one spiked up like right while we were starting the show, and it looks like it will be a 10-minute halt, if not more. So we are in currently 10-minute land. What time is it currently right now? Exact time. 16s, we halted at 40. So we could open up in about 20 seconds. If we do open up in about 20 seconds, that will be a 10-minute halt. But they come, the halts, that is, volatility halts, come in increments of 5. So it could be a 15-minute halt. We'll have to wait and see exactly what we get there. EHLD is what I'm talking about, guys. Up 67.86%. And while we're waiting for it to open up, here it is. Now it is open. The halt way low. It's below VWAP. I'm not touching this. This looks like a Christmas tree retracement, baby, where it gives up the entire move quick as you freaking like. Oh my goodness. Look at this, bro. It's just bleeding. That's ugly. That's real ugly right there. Let's see if it halts. 71s, it's showing me a possible halt at 671 over here. Let's continue to wait. There you go. You can see all the prints coming in the same. It's going to have to do this for 10 seconds, and now we are halted to the downside, 671. In that halt, we just gave up 34% of the move right there. just in that one move. So if that doesn't scare the hell out of you for these small cap gappers and make you scared straight, so to speak, and trade them properly with right size, execution, rules, etc., then I don't know what does. So EHLD halted to the downside. Excuse me. DATS was my first L of the day. I've only got one L. Now, I tried to take DATS at the volume weighted average price for that 460, 450 hold. It didn't hold. In fact, I didn't even have my stop below 440. This one blew through my stop because I didn't have enough of a spread between the triggering price and my limit price. I always advocate for sound risk management skills, yet I didn't execute it myself on this occasion. Usually I do. In this occasion, I didn't give enough of a spread, and it ended up blowing through my stop, so I had to punch in using my flattened key, punch out, excuse me, using my flattened key, so a bit of a tougher look there. Now, the current one we're involved in, we're still 1 penny out of the money, and no prints right now on RAY, and I've been watching this for a hot minute. There is certainly a seller of note at 207, but we'll get back to that in a second because MLGO's open and it's about to take out the high of the day yesterday. So the high of the day yesterday, just to give you guys an idea, 1687. That is as good as we could do yesterday. The high of the day currently, 1639. Something tells me that 39 is going to get blown through awfully soon. How you trade this one is always kind of bamboozled me, okay? I hate punching in at highs, yet they always seem to be the most money prints. 1649 now, the high of the day. I'm gonna cancel this alert so it doesn't ring my ear. Too late, it has rung in my ear. Now, 1678, we're still about 10 pennies below that high. That is all over. Now I'm buying the dip. Let's see if this one can dip down a little bit. I'm gonna try to pick it up. There we go. Oh, wow, it didn't have me. Let's see if now it has me. Excellent. Boom to the high side. Again, to the high side. Nice, dude. Nice. Oh. Nice. Let's go.
Keep going there.
We're over $1 in the money, baby. Right on this one.
That,
boom. ML freaking GO. Halted to the high side. About to halt. Could be a false halt right now. 1776. It looks like it's going to false halt, Joseph. So we're going to take out some more right there for that false halt. Hold on. How many shares do we have on this now? And we're still good. Now it could halt again. 75 is now showing. Let's see if I want to get caught in the up halt here. So I'm going to leave myself to get caught in the up halt itself. Another false halt, bro. Oh my goodness. Okay, Adara, what's up?
Sharif, I may have another smaller cap runner for you. It's GDHD. This one has, I think, just over 11 million shares traded, about a 7% short float. Golden Heaven Group Holdings just popped here into new day's high. So GDHD, no catalyst, but Sharif, it could be a small capper for you to watch out for. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. I'm out. Quick as you like. Break even right there. So we took over $1 on that. It dropped below my entry, and that was the end of the trade. Simple as that. I'm not going to let this go against me. So MLGO certainly in focus now. $15 could be a money buy. And the reason I say that is that's a pre-market crest. Okay, so that area we topped out, albeit on lower volume, to be fair, 15 bucks. Did it come down to 15? Oh, wow, it came down to 15.15. And now it's all the way up. By the time you do your analysis, the thing's away from you already. I mean, algos obviously trade this a lot faster than I would. I perceive 15 to be support only for this area crest over here. It's exactly what happened. It dipped down into 15.15, and now it's back at 16 3/4. Like unreal. All right, we're taking multiple prints now on Ray. It broke through my level. Bang to the high side. We're going to take out more here, baby. RA freaking Y. We're going to see if this one can take out the high of the day. 232. Joseph Wilson.
You're on fire, man. You guys are on fire today. Boom, fire. Need the extinguisher. It's so hot out here. Yeah, here we go, guys. Yeah, sorry for that one. But it was a little corny. But yeah, it's all right. You gotta live a little, I guess. But yeah, here we go. I added to this.
Sweating from all the yelling, bro. My goodness.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, we need that one, I think, actually. You know which one I'm talking about there, Sharif. But yeah, I added to this Tesla position here, guys, to see if we can break this high day. We are range bound, but it just brought my average up to the lower end of this range, which I'm okay with. But a nice trade here earlier in the mornings, all the way up through here. So yeah, we'll continue to hold and add if this is gonna work out. The one thing is that we are sitting in a weird place on the cam structure. So gotta be patient. The one that I missed out on, and I know Katina Man's in this, is PLTR. This hammer would have been really, really nice to get in. You would have caught about 50, 60 cents right there off the get. So let's see if this continues to climb. This market is strong. I thought that we were going to be pulling back in towards VWAP. Maybe not just yet. I pulled up the options chain this morning. I'm like, where's the overhead resistance? 495. We got a little bit of OI, but nothing that stands out and says, hey, Joe, be weary of me. I'll pull it up one more time just to be sure. But in the queues, 494, we got 6,000, and then 495, we got about 9,000, we'll call it there. So nothing crazy, guys. Let's see how the overall market reacts around those levels. We're already, actually, no, we're not. So 493.5. So right at that 494, you're going to see how this market is either going to blow through that level or we reject and slightly head to the downside long. 95.25 says my guy to the right of me. Really good look there on Palantir. Katina, man, that's what you want to see, starting to climb higher, running into some key resistance levels. I think it breaks and heads into the volume weighted average price. So that's how it's done. Good look and good bottom catch there. My brother saw the hammer on PLTR and missed it as well, says Gorev. I know, dude, we got to pull those triggers. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And you know what we do around here?
What?
Shoot or shoot, Sharif. So you got to shooters. Shoot, so we gotta take those shots, or we're gonna we don't like that. We gotta take them because we're gonna miss the opportunities, and we want to put on those trades for you guys and for ourselves as well too.
Man.
So here we go, nice add. So boom, we add in double the position, triple the position there, Sharif.
Damn.
I'm like, this is my out. And hold on, I'm gonna pull something up before I send it back to you guys.
Good.
And what? So I talked to a couple of the guys. I was talking to Wayner. Obi, I can't believe I stuttered on his name. Jose, Sharif, I was talking to these guys. I'm like, oh, I messed up a little bit on my IBIT trade because it would have been fantastic. So what did I do? He gave me this wicked quote. This is to say, don't change stop due to increased share size. Okay, the thesis shouldn't change. And what Wayner said to me was absolutely fantastic. He said, Joe, I would rather have 50 shares of the right trade and the right stop than to have 200 shares on the wrong stop and on the wrong trade. And I'm like, man, wow. Bang. I'm like,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm
Well
like, yeah,
said.
you're exactly beautifully put there on that front. So take that in, guys. Even you got to keep the same stop. Like if I had a stop in the middle of this range, chances of it getting hit are high. But if my stop's below it, then I can stick to this thesis until we crack it to the lower end. Let's see if we can continue to climb higher. In Tesla, it looks like it wants to curl over, but that 5-minute opening range is awfully weak, and we might be putting in a lower high here, guys.
All right, I'm keeping an eye here on MLGO because it's not done. I just put in another high day, 1841, but it's trading awfully erratically in a way that could, it could rinse you super quick. Because it's moving dollars at a time, 50 cents at a time minimum here. The spread is good for the most part for a stock that's moving this erratically. I mean, 5 pennies. I've seen it as tight as 2. Right now it's about 15-ish. It keeps changing, so be careful with this one. When it trades like this, I've seen this story in the past. This is the best part of, or the best time to trade these ones when they're parabolic in this way. But they pull back so aggressively sometimes on the way up that you can find yourself, way past your stop on a pullback. So that's why I try to take them off key areas of support for the more boring trade. Let's call a spade, taking it off support and taking 15 pennies rather than taking dollars is the more boring of the trade. Whether or not,
Oh, wow.
you can make the difference by sizing in. What's going on over there? What's happening, Joseph? Tesla's breaking up?
No,
Palantir?
Palantir, man. That
Palantir's
was the trade,
rocketing,
man.
eh?
That was the trade.
Okay. All right, let's have a look at Palantir over here and see what the haired one is up to. All right, PLTR. What do we got over there, Katina, man? Yeah, nice bounce off that 95. That's money right there. You're at 96 and change. So the Katina, man, looking like you're over $1 in the money on that bad boy. Eh? You picked up like 95 and change. Yeah, they're good for him, bro.
Well, we're at 95 quarters.
95 and a quarter. So you are $1 in the money, Katina, man. You're about 95 pennies in the money. Shut it. Tesla is a different story, my guy. But good look right now. Palantir, we'll keep an eye on that bad boy. Good look on the day. Here goes MLGO, though. And here comes the high day of 41s again. We're showing 30s, 27s, zigging and zagging. There does seem to be a seller in the 40 penny area. So the initial rejection, 41. This last rejection, 39. So these shorts are becoming exuberant. We always talk about buyer exuberance. Well, how about seller exuberance? How come they don't get any love around here? Get it, Adara. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. It's got a bunch of different higher lows on the 5. This is what I'm looking at. Each and every successive candle on the 5-minute chart has a higher low. Yeah, Tesla's rocketing up, Katina Man said. Oh, down. My mistake there. The Katina Man short 279 on the Cybertruck. That's a great look there, brother. Yeah, that's a good look. That rejecting that 280, and now it's negative on the day again while the market is up. So that's definitely not a good look there. Tesla down 0.2%. Lots of different Tesla news catalysts today. We'll be getting to that shortly when the market calms down a little bit over here. Just chime in on the mag, if I can. I'm liking Meta, possibly here at the volume weighted average price, and that could be coming real soon. Meta seems to have an affliction for VWAP bounces, or at least I perceived that in the past. 627.75, essentially maybe 628 bounce for META. It's up 1 2/3, so Meta's been strong. And guys, look at this daily chart on Meta, man. We were talking bear smack about Meta. A quadruple bottom, Joseph, off that 200, and since we made that quadruple bottom, we're up nice, man. We're up about 10%, 10.5% off that low. So not a bad look for META. Still well off the highs though, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, my friend. Yeah, Gorev, I didn't even know either that thing's buzzing, brother. So yeah, good luck on that one. And Butter Biscuit Head, I understand what you're saying, but you got to understand that when I'm in here, now I'm just adding to this trade, right? Looking for that continuation. So, but why my stop is here is because that's where my break even is, right? You've seen that my average was 10.99. How is my average 10.99 if I'm in up over here, right? At 11.10, right? So this is where I got to get out. And then look, imagine I was holding this trade a little bit longer, so I'm still utilizing the bulk of what I've entered here to hold in and add into there, which would brought my average to here, and then now you can see that we're breaking down. So I understand what you're saying, it's a trade within a trade, but you also have to utilize your average from when you're in all the way down here to also look for that continuation as we start to break down in the market. But Palantir holding strong. Unfortunately, my guy Hood over here is breaking down as well too. Let's see if we get a hammer candle and hold these prints. But there's another indecision candle that we were talking about, referring to earlier. Nice climb higher, and then we break down. I did take a little scalp at the break of VWAP, but then it came back down. So we got out our break-even trade right there. We'll pull up. We'll pull up Hood and see what we got going on. And we also took a couple L's on IBIT, but that's okay because when you have winners that are larger, so I went like 0 for 3 at the start, but then I had one trade that eliminated 90% of the losses, and that's what you want to look for, right? That's why you want to hold on to these winners, add to winners, and continuously try to make that position as large as you could. So I was holding it for the bottom there, nice adds, and then you can see we climbed higher, but back to Hood to see what we had going on. So you can see I only got about 20% of the position off, and then I got stopped out break even there on HOOD. And then we'll take a look at IBIT. I missed this trade too, and I was so upset with myself. And I'm like, oh, you got to take the shots. And then right a minute later, these weren't necessarily to the playbook. This one I'm not overly mad about. This one I'm slightly frustrated about, but I should be in right here, and that would give you the ability to hold through all of this and multiple adds throughout that trade. So we'll look for that. We'll look for this continuous strength here in the market. If NVDA can get the ball rolling here, Sharif, I think we might have the ability to put on some trades.
Hey.
I do like, especially in the overall market, I do like the potential hammer candle put on Hood, so maybe we'll look for a little bit of a bounce in this name as well too, but we got to take a look at it from a daily perspective, and we're starting to really outperform. I'll give us a percentage metric. We were down 50% at one point, Sharif, but now climbing back, a really nice bounce off of the bottom, and I was looking at the likes of CrowdStrike too, guys, so they're really strong. And when I was listening to some analysts last night, and if you're looking for that 5% bounce off the bottom in the overall overall markets, we essentially already got that, guys. So be wary, as we might see some more continued weakness, or we can squeeze a little bit higher. But just be aware of where we're at. So 47%, right? From peak to trough here, Sharif,
Yikes,
right?
dog.
But now we've recovered
how much?
Approximately 35% of that move. Jeez. So that 40 grab there, not looking too bad here in HOOD, Sharif.
We got back into MLGO, man. At the break of 18, we scalped up into 1870. That's the end of the trade. It did spike, making me look like a bad trader in 1970. It's below my out now. It's at about 18.25, but this one is squeeze central. It's only up 30% on the day, guys, because it opened up well red. It closed out yesterday right around that $14 area. The pre-market, but the technical low of day is $9. So this one was coming from a red position, hence why we're only up 27%. In addition to that, we were up 1.5% yesterday. I say that obviously for effect, but literally, guys, from the 4 a.m. print yesterday on MLGO, which is when it started moving, by the way, around 4 a.m., until the 4:30 p.m. yesterday in the aftermarket, we were up almost 600%. So this one's on a lot of people's radars. Let's just put that out there. That's number one. Number two, I didn't want to get involved until we took out the aftermarket high from yesterday. And I say that for a specific reason. I look at the aftermarket high from the previous day to be very similar to the pre-market high from the current day, in the sense that I don't want to have to deal with bag holders and shorts that are using that level to get in or to sell or to get the hell out of there, depending on what they were doing, whether they're trying to short or whether they were long and just trying to get out of a losing trade. So I watched this one move up. Neil told me about it. Tisha was telling me about it. Everybody was telling me about it. So it's not like I didn't have eyes on it, but I just refused to trade it until it met my criteria, and it did. So we're going to keep an eye on it. It's currently very tradable at the moment, but kind of the current candle on the 5 is an engulfed candle. The previous candle engulfs it from the high side and from the low side. So very much an inside candle at the moment, trading below 18, 17, mid 80s or so. It's up 27%. Good look there. I did get stopped out of the remaining amount. I only had one out left on RAY. It lost the volume weighted average price. So that's the end of the trade for me there. We'll look to get back in if RAY can show some respect for the volume weighted average price, currently not respecting that level. But I got to tell you something. I always have this rule about using VWAP with small cap gappers, and that's great and all, but what if they're not respecting VWAP on the day? And I think RAY might be one of those candidates. Look at the respect it has for the 20 and a very seldomly used moving average by me. I'm just speaking for myself. I don't typically use the 20 all that much. I've always got it up on the chart there. It did seem to find some support once, twice, and OB thrice from essentially 1045 to 1055. You had 3 5-minute candles defending that 20 exponential. So I was looking at this $1.89. I'm like, well, this breaches my rules, getting long a small cap gapper below the volume weighted average price. And I'm kind of happy that I stuck to that rule, because it does look like it's going to lose the 20. It did have some respect for the 20 over here. Looks like maybe that was a fleeting thing and no longer doing that. So I don't like any of these small cap gappers right now. I'm just going to tell you the truth. All of them are, except MLGO, of course, that's the only one. All these other ones on your screen right now don't look tradable. Ray below VWAP, DATS below VWAP, ANTM below VWAP, DJT's piece of crap, POAI below VWAP, EHLD just gave back everything that it made, and IOBT is doing absolutely nothing with no volume. So I'm displeased with all the small cap gappers, for the exception of MLGO. We're going to keep tabs on this one, and we see if we can extract some more profits on MLGO. Let's leave that bad boy up on the trading screen. Guys, if you see any new small cap gappers as well, you guys have been really good about making me aware of them before I'm actually aware of them. It's kind of hard to do it when you're on the show. So please tag Joseph or I in the chat. Let us know what you're looking at there. And we'd be very appreciative, obviously, if you're going to let us know about these small cap gappers. Shout out to Tisha as well. She's looking at the same thing. ONER says he's long DATS. So let's have a look at DATS, because I had an ill-fated trade on that one. Did you have anything? Can I keep going?
No, fire it up, man.
Okay.
If you're rolling, keep the rolling.
Yeah. So DATS, Joseph, this one was, it started off well. in the sense that, it was above the volume weighted average price. It looked like it was using it as support generally at that $4.50 area, but we've seen this pattern before. What pattern am I talking about? A descending wedge. I don't like these patterns, especially when there is a double top mixed in with that descending wedge. Here's what we see. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Every successive 5-minute candle, lower high. Not necessarily a lower low though. That's the thing, and that's what we call a descending wedge, flat bottom break, exactly what DATS did there. Let's see if it can recover above that 4.5. Just because it broke VWAP intraday doesn't mean it can't reclaim it and actually be a good trade. So give this one an opportunity to get above the volume weighted average price again, show that buyers are in control, not the shorts and the sellers, and then we can have a conversation. But let me make one very specific caveat here to that VWAP retaking, which is let it show you that it's taking VWAP on a closing basis. A quick wick above that volume weighted average price has a way of, sometimes being a false breakout. So you end up getting long, or I'm just speaking about myself here, get long on the break of VWAP only to have, it obviously drop and make another lower high. So I'm looking for more than just a VWAP take. What's going on there, Katina, man? Oh, yeah. I'm looking for more than just a volume-weighted average price break and take. I'm actually looking for something a bit more like a higher high, a clearing of a resistance level, something like that on DATS. I'm a little concerned about that one. 3 7s. What do you think of NAC? I didn't think much highly of it yesterday because we used a whole bunch of different puns. Like I have the NAC for NAC. Get it? Anyway, very much an inside day. $1.31 to the high side, $1.10 to the low side, and it's kind of doing very light volume. We'll get to Adara. Adara, is it breaking news? Okay, just 1 second, Adara. HMR looks good. UCS FCU, very straight up. I like this one. Now you're speaking my language over here. This one's going to earn its way onto the side chart. Stuart, Adara mentioned about GDHG. Looks pretty good. I'm going to put that up on the screen, and we're going to send it to Adara, and I'll give you my thoughts when we get back.
Yeah, no rush at all here. I just wanted to let you guys know we have a new graphic here on X at TTV Research. I posted a while ago here the weighting of the S&P 500, and it's really interesting how much it has changed since I posted that graphic back in January. If you check this out on X, I've actually posted this as a reply to the previous graphic so you can see both compared. The weightings of these major big tech names have really taken a hit in those 2 months, and the weighting of the remaining companies that are not part of this vast majority here, part of these Mag 7s, etc., that's actually gone up. So basically what we're trying to say here is that the weighting of non-tech companies is increasing while the weighting of some of these tech companies is taking a slight hit. Of course, these still outweigh the rest of these companies as a whole. About 40% here of the weighting of the S&P 500 makes up just 15 companies. But either way, pretty interesting stuff here. I thought it'd be worth it to look back at this given the ebb and flow in the market as of late with that pullback and now this attempt at a rebound. So you can look at all of this and more on X at TTV Research. Back to you.
Yeah, Dara stays undefeated with those infographics, bro.
Second to none. Sharif.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah, well, we're going to hit the siren for that one as we climb higher. Ear. Anyways.
Hear ye.
Let's see what we got going on. Gaurav's like, Joe, you had that hammer on hood. I'm like, I did. Let's go. So I was like, let me build this thesis if we crack the low, and we got it right here, and it broke lower. I'm like, oh, no, you dirty dog, you. Let me get right back in, and then we just climb, add to the position. We are now running into this mid zone. We want to sit on top of this resistance in order for us to climb higher, but I like this volume supporting it here, and we had about a half an hour of just straight selling and no pullback. Hopefully I don't get stopped out at that break-even point. We're going to hold on to this for as long as we can. If we break through this 47.85, I think that we can slowly start to climb higher because that volume is there. And look at the strength here on the time of sales. Let's get some of these quotes on, these quote highlights up there, though, because if we want to see an imbalance on the L2, we're going to need that up there, guys. So there we go. Climbing higher. Come on, crack through it there. HOOD. We like hood. There we go. Breaking up slightly higher. This is what we want to see, Sharif. Let's go. There we go. Yeah, let's go. There we go. So, I'm in Mario. But yeah, nice stuff there. IBET trading well. I told Sharif, I don't even really care what the market does as long as IBET continues to climb higher because you know how we feel about that one. Tesla holding VWAP as well too, guys. If there's anything that you want us to look at, feel free to put it in the chat and we will go over it. But I mentioned the cues at 494. We got a little bit of OI and you can see that the market was rejecting that. Now we're starting to pull back in. Hopefully we can hold this support zone here or come back and retest that. Otherwise we're going to get stopped out about 85% of this position, and that's what it's looking like it's going to happen. Maybe should have took some more off at that resistance zone that you can see we were hesitating in, and we didn't really punch through it with that momentum. So we got to be a little bit more patient here. The market looking kind of toppy. MLGO at the tops here, guys, and yeah, NVDA still a choppy mess, running into some pre-market zones as well too. So we'll be patient. If it comes back to this break even, we're going to have to get out of this trade. But one thing to note is that the volume on the 1 minute time frame is dwindling, so that's can give us a little bit more confidence that we might turn things back around and punch through some of these resistance zones, guys. Let's see what we got going on the options chain to see if we have anything that stands out that says, hey, Joe, we're not going any higher today in this underlying asset. All right, let's see. So 48, where were we sitting at? Okay, yeah, so we were a little bit north of that, 49.40. So, okay, 50, we got 13,000 open contracts, and the high day was about 49.30-ish. So that is the look there on HOOD. We'll continue to look at and monitor some other names. So, yeah, Monty G, I don't know what that's for, but if there's anything MLGO, please, yeah, for sure. Your life breakthrough coach, Joe Apple. Yeah, so we'll go through Apple first. Hopefully it's strong because it's really important to the overall market. And if it's not trading, is it trading like crap today? Okay. All right, let's see. We're about to fall.
I was deleting pictures of on my phone because my storage is running out.
Yeah.
And like I always take a picture of the.
Oh, it's good today.
Thing. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. And it always takes a picture of what the Apple price was, and it was just like 250. No. And then every successive picture, 240, 230.
So you just watch the decay of the price.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. Yeah. But yeah, nice look here on AAPL, guys, holding up stronger than the rest of the market. But now just hovering slightly extended from VWAP and starting to pull back in, but it's holding up relatively strong. 223 is that look there on Apple, but hood not looking too good here, guys. If it cracks this low, then we're going to just have to get out of this trade and find something else because it looks extremely, extremely weak.
Look at that. Look at that super chat, bro. That's kind of for you. A little bit for you and for me right there. You can read it out. I read it. It's good. It's good. It's fine.
Oh, there you go. Do you say dirty dog?
No. Oh. I don't know why. I'm like, maybe because I use more profanity than you. Maybe that's what. I don't even think dirty dog's profane. No. At all. MLGO is going to halt down. If it not halted already, it is halted. Excuse me. 1654 ML dang GO halted down. I still like it though, guys. Look at that. It's still above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. That is that green line there on your chart. That's about $16.20. 1969 high on the day, but halted down at about the $16.50 area. Let's see how long this one stays halted and what it does after that. Let's just take a quick look at the top, the theoretical auction price, before I talk about HMR. So currently, the theoretical auction price, guys, $16.20. You're always going to see that right there. I know it's super small on the screen, but that's the benefit of having YouTube. You can zoom in, baby. Well, on mobile anyway, you can. 16.23 theoretical auction price. I'll give you updates on that as time goes on. But I'm looking now at HMR. So whoever sent me HMR or whoever mentioned in the chat, I forgot your name, thank you very much. This is beautiful. There are some things that I don't like about it. The volume, 1.12 million, displeasing. Especially on a $3 name. It should be doing more volume for me to feel comfortable. But you can't argue with chart patterns. And you can't argue with the fact that every single retracement has defended the 10 exponential moving average. Okay, so it's getting a little extended now, relatively speaking. So I'm going to wait for a closer pullback into that 350, high 40s, and then we'll have a conversation with the ultimate out being the break of the volume weighted average price. I won't trade it long. Below VWAP. HMR 17.5%. Here are the details. $204 million market cap. As I mentioned, light on volume, 1.12 million. I don't have any more information on that. So we're going to go to Trade Ideas, see if they've got something for us. They do. It says a float of 328,000. I'm suspicious of that automatically, so I flipped to the daily to see if there was a split. And there was. There's a 10-to-1 split, so it could be probably is much higher than that. And now that we've got the daily up there, we can already tell just by looking at the daily that this is a former runner. What the hell does that mean? That means that it has a propensity to run aggressively intraday and then to give back the entire move. That's why you see these spikes up and then it comes all the way back down, because it's an intraday trade. It's not a buy and hold for the most part. So HMR, a former runner, so we kind of know that it has a propensity to do this. I don't have any more information. I don't have a short float. I don't even know what the company does, other than to give you its name, Haidar Maritime Holdings. Don't know if it's American, Chinese, or what, okay? So that's all I've got on HMR at the moment. We're gonna keep tabs on this one. I like it on a pullback. It's not doing enough volume for me to punch in at highs in the way that I did with MLGO. MLGO was breaking out parabolic. That's not what HMR is doing. HMR is stair-stepping up. So I'm not punching in at highs for HMR. Let's see what happens over here. We're still waiting on the MLGO halt. Just to give you a reminder, it halted at 1147. Let me just close this one and then expand this one. 11:47:13, okay? So currently the time is 11:51:38. So we still have another minute or so, a little less than a minute, excuse me, about 30 seconds before the 5 minutes elapses for the halt. We'll see if it's a 5-minute halt. We already saw with that other one, I forget which one it was, it ended up being a 10-minute halt. So MLGO halted to the downside right now at 54. But look at that, the tap recovered. So essentially the theoretical auction price, the same price as the halt price, 1653 is the tap. The halt price is 54. So it's basically at break even. And here it is. It is now open right on time above the halt level, holding the 10 exponential like a dang glove. So let's give this one the old community college try. We're going to go long over here. We're long at 73s, taking profits right there into the move of 17. Can we get a little bit more on 17? I'll flatten out if it drops. I have no issue. There it is. It drops again, so we'll take out a little bit of a move there. MLGO. 1969 high. Let's see if it can take 16, Joseph. I'll get back in. What do you got?
Yeah, good luck. We got all out of that hood trade. Didn't really do what I wanted to. You can see that it's weaker than the rest of the market. So if you're looking for those extended longs, probably won't come into play here. See you later, hood. We'll keep an eye on it, but I don't think we're going to trade it too much anymore. One thing that I am going to be patient and wait for is the TQs to see what we got going on, and if we can hold VWAP, and if we can do so, then maybe we'll look for a continuation of this trend that we have going on today. But the SPY is really weak here, guys. NVDA was trading higher as everything else was pulling back, and Tesla holding up relatively well. So those are some positive signs. Palantir still hovering below the volume-weighted average price, but as for hood, not looking too good, and that way we are not going to be trading it. You have me rolling over here, Sharif. Yeah, Tisha, sorry, she's having Tisha.
She's killing it,
yeah,
bro.
She's killing it. So last week's low is support. Is that on hood you're referring to, Neil? Or maybe let's see. But a nice volume spike there. Nice volume spike there on Robinhood. So maybe we do got to keep our eye on it. If it does print a hammer candle and the rest of the market wants to start to participate, then maybe we might have to do so. But it looks like we want to climb a little lower here in the SPY and the Qs. We got SPY through VWAP, and Qs are slightly lagging on that front. If the big names want to continue to bleed here, Sharif, I think it's a matter of time until the TQQs start to catch up. So yeah, if there's anything you guys want to go over, one thing we will do right now is to see the top performing sectors of the day, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
So in the top of its class, we got the comm sector up 1%. I wonder what Meta and Google are up to there, my friend.
They're both up.
They're both up. There you go. 1 1/3, and there's the comm sector up 1%. Energy sector up 0.3. Tech sector up 0.25% there, guys. So those are the top three win, place, and show. Consumer staples sitting in third last, down about 0.8% there, as well as real estate down about 0.9, and then utilities down about 1.7% on the day, man. So good look here in the market as we continue to bleed. We're not getting any of those indecision candles just yet, but we'll be patient and we'll wait to pounce on those opportunities when they arrive.
I'm looking at goggles, Joseph. You got me looking at it right now. I see TNON, Christopher. I'm waiting for the break and take of the pre-market high on TNON. I get it. It's a monster right now. It's up 362%. But believe it or not, it's still below the pre-market high of $6.07. I won't trade it below that. I'm just not gonna. All right, let's have a look at goggles. The reason I'm looking at goggles, Joseph brought it up, so I had a quick look. Lo and behold, we're at that 169.50. Well, what is that 169.50? Well, number one, it's a previous area consolidation. Look at that. From essentially 10.05 till 10.35, we were doing basically a zigzag here, a little above 169.5, a little bit below. So it's an area where there was support before. In addition to that, it is also the volume weighted average price. 169.50's VWAP. It's showing you right now, it's bouncing off that level in the 62s. It's still a lower high though, relative to the previous candle. The candle I'm looking at, 11.50. The current candle, 11.55. So I'm not going to be punching in on a hope that the volume weighted average price ends up pushing this one back up. I need one 5-minute candle to make a new high on a closing basis. So this candle here has to close above this candle here on a closing basis. That means I get a worse price or a less advantageous price. So be it. I'm fine with that. I will wait for the right entry. So a break above that 169.70 on goggles on a closing basis probably gets me into this trade over here with the volume weighted average price being my out. I'll put it probably a couple of shekels below that. So Google up 1.14 with good strength in the market today. But as you can see, a lot of these Mag 7 names pulling back just a skosh. Here's the deal. Meta, weaseled below VWAP. Microsoft below VWAP. Google holding on a dear life for VWAP. The Fuge still above VWAP. Amazon above. Apple above. Tesla at. And NVIDIA, you were mentioning this, waking up here, Joseph, still negative on the day, but certainly off that 118 low and now knocking the door of 121. It weaseled up to 120.94, but that's as good as it can do on the day for now. The break-even point for NVIDIA on the day is that 121.40. That is the closing print from yesterday. Anything above that, we go green on NVDA. What's up? What happened?
No, nothing. I just like the print here on the SPY. Look at that hammer candle there, guys. I'll pull it up here for you guys real quick to see what we're displaying. It's part of the lesson here. Jesus.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, right. So let's see if this comes into play. If we can fully close, this might be a potential signal for a bounce here, guys. Let's pull it up on the 5-minute time frame. The higher the time frame, the more conviction you can have within it. So here we go. I like this, but yeah, see, it's just blowing right past it. So that selling is not done, but that can possibly indicate, hey, we're ready. It just takes some time in order to turn this boat around. All right. So we'll see if this can hold up. I wish there was is there anything like the TQs, guys? Let me know. Excuse me, for SPY. I know there's VOO and some other ones, but I wouldn't mind a 3x SPY that's around like 50, 60 bucks instead of 500 bucks. So if there is anything along those lines, and it's liquid, of course, please let me know there, guys. But yeah, the Q's starting to pull back in as well. Let's see if we can hold this. It is lagging the SPY, so if we get that elastic effect in VWAP, then we'll be looking for the turnaround and then the continuation of that trend, but it doesn't look too promising. I'm gonna go over some 5-minute opening drives. Like, look at this 5-minute opening. I'm like, wow, this thing is super weak. But I just had that hunch that it was gonna turn around, and so we just waited for those indecision prints at the lows. But here, look at this 5-minute opening drive. That is a big time genuine move right there, guys. And then if you're in a 5-minute orb trader and you just play the crack of that, then you're looking at a nice, what is that, a 6-7 point move there. So really, really good look. We can't break through it. I don't see, is there any, yeah, okay, so there is some resistance zones. You can see that shelf that was formed in yesterday's post market, and it's now being respected today. So a really, really good look there on that front, and you can see some pre-market lows as well touching into that level, and then we reject right off of that. So let's see if we can get some volume and momentum, and the rest is just kind of blue sky. So we'll be wary. Oh, okay, a nice little pop there on SPY, guys, as we print that 1-minute hammer candle, and then we shoot right above it, this would be your out. And I would just say, hey, thesis wrong. So we'll take a look at SPY. Maybe we'll grab a little bit down here, Sharif.
All right, I'm not long. Okay, perfect. It cleared up because it said I was long MLGO 1673. I'm done my MLGO trade. So it's zigging and zagging right now, guys. It's kind of completely indecisive. Let's have a look at what the last few 5-minute prints have been. Very wild. Very wild. Look at this. I mean, this is a huge topping tail candle. It's also a lower high. And then we have this break of a key support level of the 10 exponential. So MLGO is all over the place. This was the area to trade it. It feels awfully, nerve-wracking to kind of trade it in this area over here because it's freaking out and spiking like super aggressive, but I feel that is best area to trade it. Anyway, I'm long HMR. Just cover this super quick before we go to Adara. This is a 10 exponential pullback and a doji candle closed at the 10, a candle of indecision. So I'm putting my stop below this candle low. So we're currently in a new 5-minute candle. I'm placing my stop below the low of the previous 5-minute candle. Adara, what's happening now?
Sharif, we're going to take a look here at these markets. Here's the S&P 500 giving up pretty much all of this early push to the upside. Right now, we are roughly flat on the day. The NASDAQ, pretty similar here to the NASDAQ was last time I checked, at least on the QQQs, bouncing a little bit off of VWAP, or at least near that VWAP level. We have lower than expected economic data across the board at 10 a.m. New home sales month over month, Richmond Fed Composite, and CB Consumer Confidence all coming in lower than estimates. The market kind of pushed a little bit lower, but has mostly shaken it off for the time being. Some tickers, though, to keep an eye on include GME, GameStop here with earnings after the bell. We also have on watch here UAA. This one gave up the entirety of its earlier push, but UAA was on watch here after we did have news that it is going to remain, or I guess is returning as the NFL's official licensee for footwear and gloves. So UAA on watch, GME on watch, and a lot of these Mag 7 areas kind of hanging out near VWAP. Tesla bouncing off VWAP, Meta pushing below. So lots of opportunities in this market to the long side or the short side. Back to you. And Neil on his lesson of the day.
Thank you very much, Adara. Glasses buddies now all of a sudden in the midday here. Lesson of the day, just like yesterday, inspired by Tesla. And I just want to talk about failed high of the day breaks on strong stocks like gap ups and how they can work for you. Now, obviously, not short Tesla today. Didn't take it at the open, it just dropped. But the first thing it did do is gap up and then try and take out the high right at the open. But instead of taking out that high, it fails the top, comes back in. There were some shots, obviously, that you could have taken to the long side. But it's the pop and fade that I want to get to. Because when you see that happen, there's a follow through that you can sometimes work into. And you'll note that at one point, we went over. I was actually looking back at some of these names, and some of them were cleaner than others, but the cleanest one, and I'll get to it first, was AMD. And the reason why this pop and fade, and it's a real big pop at the open, and that's what I like to see. Like, you have a real big pop at the open where you're taking out multiple levels, including the aftermarket high. But what makes this one stand out is you had overhead resistance at yesterday's top on AMD. So even as it's breaking the pre-market high, for anyone that's not zooming out, they're probably, it's breaking out the top, it's taking out multiple levels, continuation into 115. Well, you have overhead resistance at the prior day high. Once it fails that, it just turns into a momentum VWAP short. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, doesn't work the 5th time. But it's about that U-turn, or whatever you want to call it, that reversal, because you've trapped longs. And when you've trapped longs, and some of them are like swing longs or hold all day type longs, those trades want to be able to give it to the prior low. And what's interesting about a lot of those trades is when you get into VWAP, you start to see a lot of weak hands working some shorts in and some longs saying, we got to get something out. You get dip buyers off the pre-market low trying to get something out. You have a lot of confluence in here for these VWAP bounces, and then you get acceleration when it starts to give up the bid. So it's that continuation when you've trapped some longs, or also in addition, because it's gapped up the prior day, you've trapped some people. Well, not trapped some people. You have some people exiting on trailing stops when you don't make a fresh high. So that gives you some juice for the short. It wasn't the only name that fell into that. The other big reversal happened a little bit later, was on the quantum names. Now, the quantum names, failed high here. But what was even better about this is they caught a huge volume spike later in the session. So usually your big volume event's at the open. In this particular case, it was a big volume event just as we were flipping to the midday. And what did it do? It broke the high and failed the high. Now it turned into another continuation short. Lower high, wish you could have had that. Then when it bounced off the lows, there was no play into VWAP, so you couldn't have that either. So this was simple follow through breakdown through today's low and afternoon support. Again, continuation short because you failed the highs on a big volume spike. So whether it's at the open, big volume spike, then you get a fail of the top instantly and they look for continuation, or in the middle of the day, you get a big volume spike, fail of the high, look for continuations, and you don't have to be early. You can catch a win on this, whether you're early, whether you're late, doesn't really matter. Then Joe had an example of a stock which fell into this and was another one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it, because I hadn't looked at Robinhood today. And wow, this is probably the best example of a continuation, because you get the break of the pre-market high. It's above yesterday's top. It's a heavy, heavy wick. But look at this pull back into VWAP and the rejection. When this sells like this, and you have an instant rejection of VWAP at 940 after a high break, look at the acceleration down. I'm looking at them, the QBTS was good, and I have no complaints about AMD, but Robinhood would have been the one. And the reason for that is there's so many ways that you could have played this without having caught anything in the first move. You could have waited till it retook VWAP. You could have shorted it back into this prior high at 49.14. Because remember, at this point, you're looking for a continuation short based on the high break. Or, and why I'm slapping the ultimate fail on myself, there was this trade, which is simply when it breaks, if you're just like, I want to be in a continuation short, let's just see it break trend. I really don't even care where you draw the trend line. You can draw it from the low. You can draw it from here. There's acceleration through every trend break. You can draw it from here. There's acceleration through that trend break. You literally could not have lost if you did a trend from the bottom short for that continuation. So a lot of times, anytime we get some kind of bullishness in the market, everyone's looking breakouts again. Oh my goodness, all the breakouts that we didn't take yesterday, got to have them today. But when you fail that break and can't get back there, look for the continuation short. Robinhood gave it to you. I mean, obviously Tesla gave it to you today. AMD gave you the opportunity for it. QBTS and the quantum names gave you that opportunity. And it didn't even have to be at the open because the biggest volume spike happened in the middle of the day. And then it failed the high. So those failed highs, and even better if it so happens to be a big level on a daily or a higher time frame chart, can be gold just for continuation of trend, because we always want to be following the trend. And the best thing about those examples is you're seeing it happen when the market was going up. You're getting something failing a high as the market's going up. What better sign of weakness could you ask for? So there's your lesson of the day. Look for those opportunities to join a trend with extra oomph behind it. And it plays both ways. You can always think about it, fail break of the low in the other direction. That's what I love about these trading type patterns, is you can look for them in either direction. It just so happened you had a lot of high breaks today after the bullishness yesterday.
Thank you very much, Neil.
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside.
Options power. Now we can talk about Neil. Thank you very much again for that lesson of the day. Joseph really liking his.
I like that one. I like that one.
It's a good one, bro. Shout out to Andre killing it yesterday
Andre,
with that. Mine's getting edited right now. I like that. Okay. I see that. I'm on a beach, baby. Have to show that one. It'll be a lot better than this one over here. Where's mine? Oh, goodness, it's hideous. Like, subscribe, and share the show that takes you into the heart of the market every day.
The beard, baby.
I look like a lot heavier, too. Look at that. My face looks...
Man, like fine wine, man.
Right? Yeah, I don't know about that, bro. More like dried up Coke. Here we go. MLGO's breaking right back above that $17 area again. I mean, I don't know what to make of this. That's the thing about this one. It's just... So it's a bit of a compression pattern. It's respecting the 10 on a closing basis, but it's not really making any new highs. I mean, if you're looking at that 18 topping tail candle and using that as an area high, okay, I get that. It's also putting in higher lows. If you remove that topping tail candle from the equation. Each successive candle there, removing that one, is another high. So I'm really at a loss here on how to execute well on MLGO at this particular area. Looking at it after the fact, obviously it looks like a money buy off the 10 exponential, that green line on my chart, but we'll wait and see. I mean, it looks like the real selling came in at 1850. There's just no way that all these candles have an open and a close of all around the same level. Each and every one of these 4 5-minute candles there opened or closed right around 18.5. Here we go, 18.25 showing up. So we're taking out the highs of the previous candle and the one before that. We're still below. Well, actually, we just got into the high of the topping tail candle, which is 1817. Currently here, the high of this candle, 1826. So it looks like MLGO is looking for that 1850 break. That's not the high of the day. Here comes 1850. 1969 is the high of the day. It just, look at it move, bro. This is a mad one right now. MLGO really going here. Let's see if it can take up that 1969, that $20 area. It's only up 30%, but guys, I made this point earlier. If we look from the 4 a.m. high yesterday to that high that we just put in at 1969, we're up 710%. Minus a couple of percentage points, 708%. So this thing's been a rocket ship. It's a multi-day runner. Started out negative today. You can see that low of the day of $9. Now it's got a 1969 high. This is the number one small cap gapper trade. Let's say on the day, it's not the number one percentage mover because it's only up 27%, but looking really good. Another topping tail candle looking like it's manifesting here on the 5 with that 1850 rejection. Down we go, but most notably, again, when you see these candles, it looks awfully ugly and it's easy to become very bearish. What's noticeable, though, is the incrementally higher lows. If you're able to kind of look through all that crazy price action, zigging and zagging to the high side and the low side, and are able to see the higher lows on the 5-minute candles, I guess maybe that keeps you a bit more confident. We'll have to wait and see what this one does. I'm still involved with HMR. I got one measly print to the high side there. I'm negative on it, not negative, I'm out of the money on it right now, showing me 48s. I'm long, I think 51s or 52, something like that. 51s, excuse me, so we're a few pennies out of the money. It's gonna have to hold up above 43. That's where I've kind of put my line in the sand there. 343, that is. Let's see what comes of this one, Joseph. What do you got?
Yeah, good look there. Not a good look here on the TQs. We took such a small part out, wanted to hold some a little bit longer, the majority of the size. But what we need to focus on here, guys, on this pullback is this indecision print right here. Can we blow through that? If we break it to the top side, I believe this is going to be the next level. The only thing is, can we survive this pullback? And that is the big question that I have sitting on this trade currently as we start to head in towards my break even. I was telling myself, Joseph, take a little bit more off there, but I'm like, no, hold that size for a potential larger move. But we got Tesla and some of these big names starting to pull back in and really choppy price action. Got a good fill on this candle here, and then we got a nice out, but it wasn't enough to do anything or be somewhat of a substantial partial as the market looks like it wants to climb back in. So I have to be ready to get out of this trade if it wants to continue to leak lower. And one thing to note here, guys, is that volume is starting to pick up on the lower time frame. Our best bet is that we hold this 66.85 as a base, and then if not, we're gonna have to get out of this trade. So give us a little bounce here. Kahlua, it's going lower. I'm still in some of my short for one more push. Okay, yeah, I think I agree with you on that front. We might take another leg down, even though we are kind of bouncing right now. I do believe that is possible. But if NVDA wants to be strong and continue to climb like it is right now, then it's going to be a tough look for the continuation of the short. Let me take a look at some of these other big names to see if they're participating as well. It doesn't seem to be the case because Meta's heading lower. Amazon's still hovering around around VWAP because I was looking at IBET. And then let's see what Goggles itself is up to. Okay, so also getting a bounce off of the volume weighted average price. I like my odds if NVDA and Google are continuing to climb higher and Apple's holding highs. I like that for potential continuation of this current bounce that we are sitting in right now. So yeah, Apple hasn't even broke down yet, guys. So gonna hold on. You see that we're posted up, waiting for this fill at 67.05. It's still not a substantial amount, so we'll have to be really, really patient. And I think if these big names continue to move to climb higher, but NVDA is starting to reject, and you can see the correlation between these two assets here. Kahlua, I'm just risk off and playing with some small profits now. Beautiful. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. But I mean, if you're short, I'm long. Prime example of just how two individuals can be on the opposite side of the trade and still put on some profitable trading. So yeah, good luck there on that front, guys. I mentioned the rejection of that key level 494 on the options chain coming into play as we rejected just below that, and hopefully you guys are looking at that as well. So yeah, let's see if we can climb higher. One thing to note, that is positive higher lows, but you can see that we also have lower highs on this end. So kind of tiptoeing on the edge with this trade as we start to pull back, and the volume not necessarily stepping in how I want to on the TQQs, Sharif.
All right, shout out to Bren Rex and shout out to the OG Darwin calling out SES. It got a big spike there, off 56 pennies. You know my disdain for these sub $1 names. I trade them begrudgingly at times, and I don't like to trade these ones south of $1 because they've got 4 decimal places, and that gives them a lot more areas at which they can post sell orders, and it kind of makes moving up a little bit tougher, especially at those key areas of support and resistance. In addition, some of these algos don't trade names south of $1, and that was, you know, I didn't even know that until Luis Barbado kind of gave us that piece of information, I think, a few weeks ago. So right now, anyway, it's got good support there, I see, at around 60.5 pennies, 61 pennies, multiple bottoms, multiple area lows at around that level, all of which got bought up. Let me just make my case on this. SES is a ticker. Is it on the 1 minute? Yeah, let me just show the 1 minute so I can just make my case right there. So multiple defends at 60.5. For whatever reason, there's a buyer in and around there. I saw this one a little late. I was trying to punch in at 61.5, and then it really got going. 64.5 pennies. This is kind of bull flagging or stair stepping up. This is the 1 minute chart on SES. Let's flip to the 5. So yeah, it's still on the breakout north, especially having cleared that 60. Now it all makes sense. Area high there, 60.5 pennies. That's why it's getting defended. Okay, I was like, that's a random area to have an area defend. But look at this. So tell me technical analysis doesn't work. We reject here. That's the high, and then we defend all these candles right at that same area. I mean, come on now, right? It does work. So let's keep an eye out on SES. I'll trade this, but it's really got to be an A+ setup. I hate trading these ones south of $1. That's just kind of my nature. We'll keep an eye out on that one. SES, the ticker, up 8%. I got stopped out to full disclosure here on HMR. I was able to get the beak wet there, but we ended up taking a 9 penny loser on HMR, long 8 penny loser, excuse me, on HMR long 51, stopped out 43s. I'm looking at getting back into this one at the volume weighted average price. I put my dip trade here at 336. This will be a tight area. I'm not going to give it much in the way of room at all. It's going to be my stop is going to be above 30 pennies, so we're not even going to risk 6 pennies on this one. I'm talking about HMR, 11.4%, light on volume, so we'll trade it carefully there. So keeping an eye on that. MLGO, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we're putting in higher lows, even though this chart pattern is ridiculous. And each one of these candles is like $2 worth of range there. It still technically is that higher low pattern. When you look at the area bottoms, the candle bottoms, each successive one a little bit higher than its prices, but you're not getting that continuity like you were initially over here. So you're really going to have to sharpshoot or snipe your entries. Make sure you're getting in at the area lows, because that's the money trade right now. At least it has been since 11:50. So we're going on about half an hour of that being the trade. Getting it in on the area low. I mean, if you want to use this trend line, have at it. If not, this is not my style of trade over here, okay? So I'm going to wait to see how MLGO sets up. If it sets up a bit better, I'll certainly be a buyer in and around there, but it's a little too rich for my blood and a little too erratic at the moment, higher lows or not. It looks like HMR may not be dropping to the volume weighted average price here because you've got a 2-candle hold up at around 39 pennies, so it doesn't trigger my order at 36. And now this current 5-minute candle at 12.15 has a higher low than the candle at 12.10. So what will get me in the trade is a higher low and a higher high. You already got half of that equation right there. You got the higher low. Now we need something above that 350, 349 area to get me in. Otherwise, I stay put and wait for that dip trade to come in. SES rejecting that level. Let's see what it does at 60.5. We may not have to wait long over here. Wow, that's ugly. That's super ugly. Look at that topping tail candle, but right into 60.5 again. That buyer at 60.5, stepping in every single time. Let's load it up right now on the trading screen. We've got it over here. Oops, wrong way. There we go. SES right around there. Now I could get in here, risk 1 penny for the break of a half. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're just going to get long here. We're going to go 60. We're going to go, we're going to go 60 pennies out. So that's a look. We're going to give it to about 58 if we can. We're going to extract some profits while this one's moving up too. If we can, I'll wait around 62, see if we can get wet the beak there at 62 pennies. That's not far from here. And then we'll wait at 62.5 as well. So 0.625, there we go. We'll see if we can get something on this bad boy. I hope it's not one of those ones where I'm not overstaying my welcome, but repeating a trade that's exhausted. What I mean there is that 60.5 penny buyer, is he running out of money? I mean, Katina Man was talking about, DCAing until you run out of money. And that's, it's a possibility. So we'll keep an eye out here on SES, giving this one the old college try to 62 pennies, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there. Let's see. We're going to take one more stab at the TQ, see if we can get another pop. We'll be sure to take more off when we run into resistance zones because I had that happen to me a couple times. And then I'll just hold a smaller amount of the position just because. So running into resistance zones in volatile markets is a good idea to take some hefty profits. So, let's see. Again, I like this risk profile here. I'm in at 66.79, substantially better than my previous entry. And then we're out at the break of 66.70, we'll call it. Give it a couple extra pennies. I've seen another indecision print on the SPY and on the Qs. It looks like Tesla wants to slightly rebound. Google heading a little bit lower, so not too good. But we got an indecision print on Amazon as well, too, guys. So there we go. Nice pop up here in TQQ. Let's see if we can continue to hold the volume weighted average price. One thing to note, on the higher time frames, you can see that we are in this secondary downtrend. And in order for us to continue that eastward movement, northeast movement, we need to break through this level. So let's see if the buyers want to step in and continue the program because the SPY is bouncing nicely and Amazon is as well too. What else is going on with NVDA? Because if NVDA is climbing higher, then the market is going to participate. And there we go. We're going to go and test, not quite the high day, but we are entering that 5-minute range here, guys. The open, we're just above the open of today's session. Let's see if we can go and test 121.47. With that being said, we're going to take a look at the options chain to see what NVDA has in store for us today, guys.
What do we got?
121. 121, 122. Yeah, there's some hefty ladders in this. Not too good of a look in order for us to kind of break through 121, 122, and 3. So we got to get through 121 first. Let's see how price action reacts around there. But 82,000 open contracts at 120. So those are, if you're short, if you're on the opposite end there, you are out of the money if you are short those. But nice little pop here in the TQs as the market wants to climb higher. Tesla looking like it wants to run into that previous resistance zone. Amazon continuing to bounce. Hood bouncing off of the lows. But most importantly, the SPY is starting to participate. We're going to, as we head into resistance, guys, I told you I'm going to take a little bit more off than what I usually do. But there we go. We'll still hold on to 66% of this position. You can see that we got this nice little pop here, stopped out break even, entered right again on that hammer candle at the volume weighted average price. And then we climb and reject right into this resistance zone that we just previously drew out. So Los Polios, NVDA crawling up 2. Let's go. Let's go is right. Gorev, excellent long on TQs. Thank you, my friend. It's looking pretty good right now. We're not going to finish the lesson just yet. We're going to go back to Sharif first. But this is exactly what we were referring to earlier. Location, location, location. And speaking of location,
what?
Going over to Adara.
Okay.
All right.
Part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. Our friends from Trade the Pool are back to Trader TV. Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using company capital. That means no more risking your savings. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time, perfect your strategy, and get funded on your own terms. So remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee. Your profits, those are unlimited. So head to tradethepool.com and start trading now. Back to you.
Oh yeah, SES baby. Do you remember when airbags used to say SE? Was it SES on that?
Something. I think I know what you're talking about.
That's
Yeah,
what
just a little.
give me
little thing in
shades of
there.
that right now.
Shades of SES.
Bang! Joseph Wilson. All right, we're long 61s on SES. Scalp, scalp, scalp. We got one more beak wetter. You know where I'm waiting, man. If I'm in the 60s, you already know where I'm waiting. If you've ever watched a show before, you know I'm a DGen. So we're gonna wait for 69s to come into play. We got 66 and a third right now. Let's see if we can get 67s on my friend SES. Shout out to Darwin, the OG. Shout out to Brent Rex. You guys definitely helped. I didn't have eyes on this. You know I wouldn't have had eyes on this anyway because it's trading below 85 pennies. That's my filter on my scanner. I use that as kind of, Neil gave me this idea. I don't like to trade these guys below $1. I usually filter them out. So he's like, no, drop it to 85 pennies. That way you kind of have the idea or you know about the ones that's approaching the dollar. Here's 67. There goes 67, Joseph. This one's squeezing 14.5%. Let's see if we can weasel into 69 pennies. I'm not moving out my beak wetter on this one. We're going to wait at 69 or we'll get stopped out. Simple as that. My stop is at 60 pennies to defend that area crest right there. So good move here on SES. All the while, DATS dropping lower. Another small cap gapper that we had eyes on. MLGO as well, putting in lower lows and lower highs, but trying to fight to stay above 16 bucks. So it's really the SES show right now with really not much else going on. HMR is like whatever. I tried to enter that one at the volume weighted average price. It wasn't having me. What's SES doing? Is it halting? No, this is not a halt. Can't be. 68 pennies incoming. All right, let's see if we can get 69s. I was kind of joking, thinking that this was not going to get to 69s, but now it just might unless it retraces here. 68 pennies is the current high of the day as we zig and zag in the high 67s. We still haven't cleared 68 by any amount. It is exactly 68 pennies high day. Shout out to my man Bovin. SES has news with NVIDIA. That's what the OG Darwin was saying. He said there was something afoot there. Oh, here we go. We're at 68 and a third. Should we flatten here, Joseph? 68 and a third, 68 and a half, 69 incoming.
Hold it for the dream.
Come on, Joseph. If this drops, I'm taking it here.
Oh, no, you didn't do it, bro.
Nah, bro. I'm not going to. I'm too weak for that. Let's see what the headline is here. Let me load this bad boy up so we can talk about this NVIDIA headline. Electric vehicles are transforming transportation. You don't say. But challenges such as cost, longevity, and range remain barriers to widespread adoption. At the heart of these challenges lies battery technology, specifically the electrolyte, a critical component. Bro, get to it. SES, an AI leader in battery innovation, is leveraging cutting-edge NVIDIA hardware and software ecosystems, CUDA, to revolutionize material discovery by combining domain-adapted LLMs with an AI model and GPU accelerate simulations in a single workflow. Okay, bro, whatever. Anyway, they got an NVIDIA headline, and the market likes it. So we just took out the high of the day, and please don't cross 69. So, Joe,
Oh, bro.
All right, well, it's not a bad trade.
No, it's
That's not
a great
a bad
trade, man.
I hate sitting beside you, bro. You kill me, man. You always make me feel bad.
Do it.
No, I'm playing. Yeah, the OG Darwin throwing in the shout out to Darwin as well. Thank you for that. Accelerating the future of transportation with SES AI, NVIDIA-powered innovation for electric vehicles. And we already knew that they were going to weasel into electric. GTC was last week. He made it very clear.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that partnership with GM?
GM.
NVIDIA and GM partners together now. We still haven't seen any fruits of that labor quite yet, but it's kind of new. I mean, they only announced that last week.
I watched the Jensen and Kramer interview with the CEO of GM.
Okay.
Yeah.
And?
It was all right.
Thoughts?
It was interesting. Yeah, they're teaming up.
Mary Barra?
Pardon me?
Mary Barra?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I won't be investing in the car space anytime soon, but yeah.
Not
maybe,
with GM, I won't.
No, definitely not with GM.
Man,
Maybe
can I tell you something? Okay, so you know I'm looking out for a new car.
Yeah.
Not that I'm putting this on my radar or anything like
Yeah.
that, but have you seen the new Hummer? Not the SUV. I'm not a big fan of the SUV. The truck. Joseph?
Is it nasty?
It's nasty because it turns into a convertible, bro.
Oh, yeah?
It's insane. We're going to have to load up a video.
I feel like the Hummer's so like 2000s.
Okay, it's an EV, dog.
Yeah.
All right? And in addition to this, the roof panels are detachable. It becomes a convertible.
Yeah.
An SUV convertible. My two favorite things.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You don't like
SUVs and convertibles. I hate sedans.
You don't like the what's the Jeep truck called again?
Yeah, I know what you're, the Wagoneer.
Yeah. No,
Not
the actual
Wagoneer.
truck.
What's it called?
What's the Jeep truck called again, guys?
The Wrangler. Thank you, Katina,
No,
man.
not the Wrangler. No,
Yeah,
the truck, man. The truck, the Jeep truck. Come on, chat. No, chat. Come on, hurry up, man. You guys are taking too long. It's not coming to me. What is the Jeep truck's name?
The truck?
Like,
The Ram?
Ferrari. No, man. The Gladiator.
Okay. So like the old TJs and YJs, right?
I like the Gladiator, man. You can take the top off.
You can. It's very tight, though.
Is it?
Yeah. So
the
like
Gladiator.
I was looking at that car before I bought my car. That was me and my old man. We went and test drove it. The dashboard is like right in your face.
In your face?
It's super tight.
What's up with that thing that they say all Jeep owners do? Like why people don't like Jeep owners?
Why?
I don't know. They like flash each other every time you see another Jeep.
Oh, is that
or
it?
something like
What
that.
is
There we go. All right,
Everybody, Gladiator.
Yes, the Gladiator. Yeah,
coming
we
in
like
fast
that,
and
man.
furious. No, well, like the point that I wanted to make, and I'm just gonna keep talking till I can show this over here, is the convertible aspect of things. Hummer, EV, truck, and then I want to show kind of the convertible part of it. Look at this, Joseph. I mean, bro, what the hell? Are you kidding? You're telling me you wouldn't roll around with the I mean, I love it. And there's speakers on the roof of all this. And here's the thing. All these detachable components, they're all square. So each person has a detachable roof. And they all go in the front trunk. They all fit perfectly.
In the
so
front
you
trunk
can
there.
go, take it out, and you don't have to keep these roof panels at home or anything like that. They all fit neatly, perfectly in the front trunk. And they all have covers and stuff like that. I don't know, man.
Pull up the Gladiator for me too.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Gladiator.
Jeep Gladiator convertible. Let's can we? It's not convertible.
This kind of reminds me like of the Honda.
So it's kind of the same thing there. I mean, like, where's it at? Show yourself. There it is.
Show yourself, man.
Open image, a new tab. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's hard,
I get that.
man.
I like that. I don't mind that at all. But it's
Yeah.
not an EV.
No.
That's number one. Number two. Well, this is more badass. So that's kind of my look there. No, I like it, man. I
Yeah, I
really
like
like this
the
car. It's just a little too
Gladiator,
pricey, though, to be quite honest with you.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, like they haven't been out for long enough to get a good used version for like a good price.
Good price.
Yeah.
Fair
No,
enough.
anyway.
Fair enough.
Guys, just going to cover this super quick.
Yeah,
SES
sure.
is continuing to break out, guys, so it makes my trade look awfully bad. We are really going here, 73 pennies. We are not stopping right now on SES. This is a New York stock, guys, up 23% on an NVIDIA headline. So keep your eye on this one. It's still sub $1. So, a lot of people have, qualms with these sub $1 stocks, myself included. But price action speaks volumes, and it is breaking out right now, Justin.
Yeah, good look there, guys. We didn't get any more bounces here in the market. It looks like we're just trading in this downward channel, guys. So we took off about 33% opposed to a little bit here, and then we just got stopped out, and that's why you just get out of the trade, especially when it looks like it's going to continue to the lower side. So, yeah, maybe we'll just take some more off on these pops. But, yeah, Amazon breaking through the volume-weighted average price. And some other names just continuing to drag this market down. NVDA holding up relatively strong there, guys. So that is a positive signal. But the overall market does not look too good. So with that being said, let's take a look at XLF. I want to see what the finance bros are up to over here. Yeah, so nothing crazy going on. Yeah, nice hammer here, but again, we don't usually trade this from an intraday standpoint. We want to see why the SPY is relatively weaker than the Qs here. And we'll go through XLE, because if XLE is weak, then that can justify as well, because that'd be top 3. So yeah, there you go. You can see that this sector is continuing to move lower and lower here, guys. Going to go and test that low day of 93, and I think that's going to be the in the works here in today's market. Now, NVDA extended from the volume weighted average price, but a nice upward channel here as well too, guys. Is there any key levels that we need to watch out for? Yeah, I mentioned this, so you can see we're running into this post-market area as well. So you can see that rejection fairly clean off of these levels. So that is good to mark out. And this price action is just completely choppy here, guys. Tough to sit through, even though you are appreciating in price. That is just a nightmare. Up a couple legs, down, up and down. But I guess that's just typical stock price action at times. But we like to see that nice, strong, continuous move to the top side. We couldn't break through any of these pre-market highs, so that can just get, hey, we are a little weak here. But the Qs, I do like it. We are starting to do some indecision prints. I don't know if we're ready to rebound. I don't like Google, and I don't like Amazon at these levels, even though we are constructing higher lows on Amazon. Even though I'm in some calls in this, which are working out really nice, but we have to take a look at this from a daily perspective and say, are we overdone? A nice gap up in the continuation, and at what point are we going to pull back? I mentioned before that we are down 20% from the peak here to these current lows, 21.8% to be exact, and then now we get, let's see, from a percentage standpoint, a 10% bounce, right? About 8% to be exactly. So how much more are we gonna ask for on this, right? We're gonna look to see what happens in tomorrow. Hopefully we open up around these lows. If we open up tomorrow around these lows, then maybe we get that ABCD type price action, but I'm looking to maybe, should I lock in some profits on those options contracts, because I bought them out the money. So I bought the one, so it was trading around 195. I bought the 200s with an October expiration cycle. So I'm just essentially, I was gaining pure extrinsic value, but now I'm gaining about $4 of intrinsic value here, which is really nice. And there's a couple of things that I was going to talk about this morning, is that when you construct ratio and calendar spreads, and when trades are working out for you, what you can do is you can remove your hedge, and then that way you won't have that that opposing delta working against you, and then you can just continue to climb higher and higher. And with further expiration cycles, if you want to do a calendar spread type trade where your short option is near dated, closer dated than your long option, then you can also just continuously roll those collecting premium to the top side. But if things are working, you can just remove that and then try to get that capital appreciation and that price appreciation with that that contract that is now intrinsically and extrinsically valuable. So yeah, that is the look on Amazon. I don't know if we're going to bounce here. Nothing from a volume standpoint says, hey, we're ready to get the ball rolling here again. Not standoutish. That's definitely a genuine move. So I don't think that we're going to get this bounce. Be wary of running into key support levels, but I do believe there might be some more downside here, Sharif.
Katina Man, what do you think of the Hummer EV? Not a bad look, right? Yeah, Neil thinks it's good. Katina Man thinks it's good. I mean, yeah. And the blue. Okay. Shout out to Dylan Patel. Thank you, brother, for chiming in. He wants to know what's going on with Meta. So whether Meta is going to continue to move down, that's a great question. So we're not going to, tell you what's going to happen. Well, number one, because we don't know, but we can try to make predictions based on the price action. So sadly, Meta did lose VWAP. It tried valiantly to hold above the volume weighted average price. It defended it from 1130 till it broke down below it at 1150. Now we're kind of very sideways, trying to hold above 626. This is a consolidation pattern, but what it looks like, Dylan, is a stair step down. You always have to kind of look at these Magnificent 7 names. These are called the Mag 7. They're their biggest names in the NQ. You have to look at their price action and then compare it to the futures to see whether or not they're moving in sync. Like if the futures are moving up, like the NQ futures, and Meta's moving down, you know that there's relative weakness in Meta. Vice versa as well. If the futures are moving down, Meta's moving up, it has relative strength. So right now, the future is at VWAP and Meta's a little bit below it. So the future just dropped into the volume weighted average price. Just dropped right now into 20,415, while Meta has been consolidative essentially since 1155. So the futures was moving down while Meta was sideways for some time there. So whether or not we catch a bid above 628, it's kind of a hard look. Now, we are defending the futures. We are defending the volume weighted average price on the future. It's a 2-candle hold up there. So if the future gets going, there's a good chance Meta recovers to the high side. Now, you're already up about 1/3% on the NQ and the ES, so we're already green bias and we're above VWAP. We'll get more to that when we get back from Adara, who's got breaking news.
Oh, wow,
Two
lift.
things moving here with news. One is TripAdvisor, the CEO posting on X that you're now able to book hotels natively on Perplexity with TripAdvisor. So TripAdvisor and Perplexity collaborating with some sort of launch with regards to booking. Then we have LYFT. So the LYFT catalyst literally just came through here on X, so we got a bit of a move before that. We have here reports that activist investor Engine Capital is building a $500 million stake in Lyft, and they're looking for a strategic review. So it looks like some activist investment here, valued at roughly $500 million so far in LYFT and TRIP. Back to you.
Yeah, there's a price action on Lyft, Joseph. 13.20 high day. Trying to zig and zag with 13 right now. Big spike up. Good look. Was basically doing nothing all morning until that news item came in. So we'll keep an eye on Lyft, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. I got my eyes on it right now. If we can pull up my screen to see if we can get any continuation here. And I know Katina Man says he's back short on Tesla. So I was looking at TSLS for the potential long on that one. But we are heading into some resistance zones. I do want to see that volume step in on the lower time frame. I can hop in here on TSLL and then use the volume weighted average price as my stop. But if we want to stick to strong names, this is a positive sign here in LYFT and Lyft here, guys. But we want to wait for that pullback. But a nice strong volume signature on Lyft. But that volume starting to step in here on Tesla. I don't want to chase it at these highs. We'll wait for a retest. But TSLL is really starting to move, and the volume on the lower time frame starting to slightly pick up here, guys. Let's take a look and see if we get that retest to the downside. But here we go. Nice increase on volume as we break through some key resistance levels. Can this hold and be sustained? I believe we're going to need the overall market to participate. Google looking like it wants to slowly start to recover. NVDA is still hovering around those local highs. Apple holding the volume weighted average price, and Tesla running into some support, into some resistance levels. But a nice trade from your boy on it earlier today. Nice ad. So we'll stick to the names that are working for us. I like this as a possible rejection as well too. So I like Katina Man's thinking. You can risk the high a day or this previous pivot high, and then look for that move to maybe the pivot low. But you don't want to be buying at the tops of these ranges unless we get that momentum and that extreme volume stepping in. But it looks like Mag 7 are slowly wanting to recover. Amazon, my guy, hovering around 205, and that is what we like to see. But yeah, really nice, strong price action here from Tesla, Sharif.
I wanted to ask you something, get your opinion on something. So you know how like Waymo launched, they're in one geographic region and they kind of just stay within that region. That's the only, the area they're authorized to operate in, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that the robo-taxi launches like that? In the sense that it's kind of restricted to a certain geography rather than just being allowed to go wherever the hell it wants. You know what I mean?
So. Do you think municipalities will have an effect on it as well too?
You mean like from a regulation perspective?
From a regulation
so that's interesting that you bring that up because in Canada, transportation is regulated by the province, interprovincial transportation regulated by the Fed.
By the Fed.
Yeah, it's like you've got a dual.
So if you get the approval from the province, then you should be good to go anywhere.
Within the province.
Yeah, within the province. Okay.
Exactly,
yeah, so
right?
There you go.
I don't know. I was just thinking about that because Butter Biscuit Head was asking me. He's like, "Would you get the robo-taxi?" I was like, "I think that's his name, Katina, man. I mean, I don't know." I was thinking, it probably stays within a certain geography, and then you kind of weasel out of that incrementally as you prove yourself over time. You know what I mean?
I want the robo-taxi.
I don't think it looks bad.
No, I think it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it has the butterfly doors on it too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's got that rounded back.
Yeah,
the arch shape like a Model
it
Y.
It kind of looks like a bullet, like the Aston Martin, right? So it's
I like it.
And the best part is, you don't even have to do anything in there. You just chill out and play some tunes.
So good.
I know Adara will be listening to the new Playboy Cardi album. I'll be just chilling out and do some analysis. You have your laptop, right? Like
punching into positions on the way to work,
right?
Trading
Exactly.
small cap gappers in the pre-market.
Like you can trade all the time now.
Degenerate.
Yeah.
Absolute
You can
degenerate.
go anywhere. Just hook up the old what's it called there? The hotspot.
There you go.
There you go. You are.
It's 2025, baby.
You're locked in. Yeah, you're locked in everywhere on the planet. So yeah, that is. Waymo has level 4 geofencing. Would you know what that means? So I guess maybe.
So it's like.
Like
put up my stop over here. 1 second. 0.64, 0.62. There we go. Sorry, I just got back into SES, so I'm just putting out my stops there. Now, this is a simple trade, okay? Let's see if the execution is simple. The only reason I'm in here is a VWAP retracement. So 73 pennies, high a day. I punched in at 66 for the VWAP retracement. I'm waiting at 67s, and I'm going to wait at 68s as well, just kind of like we did last time. Here comes 67. It's not crossing, so I won't get the fill unless it crosses. So that's the deal. There we go. Now we get the fill. Let's go ahead now and wait at 69 since we're already at 68. SES up 15%, showing me 67.5 pennies. I'm waiting at 68 with my stop for the entire position out at 64. It did wick off VWAP. Does it have enough vigor to get back above into the high? 68's again showing up on the ask, but it didn't cross, so we're not going to get the print. There it is. Now we're moving on up, baby. Okay, so we're doing well on it right now. Let's see if we can get 69. Now we're going to wait at 70 as well. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's throw that out there. So we got a couple of prints. So you better believe if it drops into my level, I'm flattening out here now that we've extracted some and it's cleared my level by some distance. I don't want to deal with a lower high. That's my thinking here. Okay, if we don't get back into that 70-ish, 73 penny area, then that's a lower high, and then I'm DCAing into a lower cost. I don't want that. So here's the deal. We're watching right now 68s, having some trouble clearing that. 68 and a third was as good as we could do there on that last little pop-up. Let's try to pack our patience. Here we go. 69 is now in view. 68 and a third. Okay, so not quite yet. So we'll pack our patience there. I want to mention as well that MLGO did do a nice double bottom off that 15.5 area. But look at what it's doing. Umpteen amount of lower highs. Tell me this is not respecting that trend line for whatever reason. So whatever algo's trading this or whatever trader is trading this seems to be kind of looking at that same trend line that you and I are looking at right now because it keeps rejecting that same level. So packing my patience for another possible VWAP dip into about 15 this time. Last time was 15.5. Let's see if we can get one off 15. That is the volume weighted average price, Joseph. Keeping my eye out on that. Lift, guys, I see you guys yelling about lift, and you have all the right to because it is continuing to move up right now. 1320 high day, Joseph. What do you got on that bad?
Yeah, I'm posted up here on Tesla. I don't know if this name is going to break higher. We're starting to form these higher lows, and then we have that flat top and running into resistance, and the volume's really starting to pick up. So yeah, I think I'm just going to punch this. Maybe if we can break out through this level, and if not, if we reject, I'm only going to give it a couple cents, and if we reject, then I'll just get out of the trade at 111.10s there. But I believe that we're going to break through, especially if the market wants to start to recover, and if it doesn't, then I'll just hop out of this trade because we are getting a bounce in the TQs. But there you go. We are pulling back a little bit. Only going to give this a couple cents here, guys. If we break the low of this structure, then I'll just get out because I believe I can get a better price. And I was just looking for that momentum to the top side as we start to step in here. And that's the thing, right? That's one thing to note. Is that unless it steps in really quick, then you might be in some trouble. So that's why I'm not going to give it too much risk. And then I'll just reassess the situation if it does decide that it wants to break lower and come the middle of the range. But looking for that break out through here, and we're not getting it necessarily right now. So gonna have to be a little bit patient on that one because the market is just moving sideways as well too, guys. Nice breakout on Palantir there from Katina Man. Amazon hovering around the volume weighted average price, and Apple still holding up relatively strong here. And one thing to note, guys, I know a lot of people in the chat are talking about Netflix. Look at this recovery in this name. Just going from
That's beautiful.
From the like
that
you just
higher
talk
low
about
just look at that higher low though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this right here up there. Yeah, that's what you're referring to. So
Yes, sir.
down 20% with like a lot of these tech names that seem to just be that common denominator, down 15, 20%.
Exactly.
And then now recovering about 16% there. So that's a really, really nice bounce. And Sharif just confirming this trend line that we seem to have here, guys. Oh, oops. On NFLX. But just going back to strong fundamentals, this thing is absolutely fantastic. You're seeing they had a 100% increase in subs year over year, and then now they're going to be increasing it. Sean mentioned WWE on there. That is fantastic. And we also got more live sports. This thing is just going to continue to bring those hot boxing those hot sporting events, whether it be boxing, big game day NFL, and then you got SmackDown and Raw. So more people joining this platform. We like Netflix for the long run, especially with those users and those subscriptions increasing year over year, Sharif.
All right. Who's that? The female fight for the belt on the weekend? Oh man, it was a split decision.
Was it?
Yeah. I'll get the names.
I
in a
only
second.
know Clarissa Shields and Amanda Serrano.
No, it wasn't either of those. But it was. I keep seeing. I follow Ring magazine now on the gram. So it's always bringing. Yeah. All those fights. Guys, I'm really happy with how we executed here on SES. Long 66 as we wet the beak there at 70. I've got one more out on this one, so I'm going to try to wait for that high a day break. Currently, as I mentioned, it's 72.94. That's essentially 73 pennies, but I've moved up my stop. It's no longer 64 pennies. It will be 66. I won't allow any part of this trade to go against me. Why? Because I am concerned about the same thing that is happening with MLGO. You get a pop off that key area of support, but what you end up getting is a lower high. So it's that stair step down. So you can't be so lofty in your expectations. Obviously, I'd love for this to clear 73 pennies, but I'm trying to be pragmatic over here and knowing that this seems to be the case with these small cap gappers. Once they get that big boy break, they print that high a day, they come back in, they test that key level of support, and they have trouble breaking that high. So I've moved up my stop to 66 pennies from 64 on SES. I'm gonna try to hold this one for as long as it's viable to do so, but not really gonna add and not really moving down my stop. I see you, Buvin. I see you there, man. You're talking about TNON. It's earned its way onto the side chart over here, Buvin. But the fact of the matter is, dude, it still has not printed above that pre-market high. And I will not breach my rules. I just won't do it. I did it once or twice, like last month or something like that. And I soar up and down. I'd never do it again. So I'm going to try to stick to my word. So that level that I'm talking about, Buvin, is this over here. That is the pre-market high. That 725 print that took us all the way up to 606. The actual high of the day after the bell is 585. So unless we clear that 606, it ain't for me. It's worked its way onto the side chart though, and I do have my alert. They're active. So if it does break that level, in fact, if it gets up 550, Buvin, I'll even know about it. I've given it that much room, 50 pennies below the entry, just to have advanced notice of a move into $6. So TNON, it's up 307%. So I'm not disrespecting it, but the best trade is behind it. This one looks like it was a pre-market gapper, where this one absolutely exploded. It moved yesterday. The TNON started moving in the aftermarket yesterday. That's a fact. 405 is when the move started.
Oh, Tesla.
Get it, Joseph.
Let's go. We're breaking out here. You see that volume on the lower time frame step in. We held those levels really nice. Now we're punching through resistance zones, and that volume is supporting it. Let's see how high we can climb here. Tesla it's still slightly positive, but I believe the next target could be 282. But what we got to do is we got to do our due diligence here, guys, and see what the options chain is telling us here on Tesla, and see how high we can possibly climb, because that was a nice breakout and that volume was supporting it. So let's see if that can be sustained. We are now at 27,000 open contracts. Okay, so we might struggle around these areas, but now that is in the money here on Tesla. So 285 and 282.5 is going to be those next potential targets here in TSLA, guys. So climbing higher, nice look here. We're going to take some off the top. Let's see what we got here. We'll take about 20% there. for that breakout. We might come back and test the zone, but we'll just be patient and wait. If we can get that add opportunity on the 1 minute time frame, you get that ABCD type pattern, then I think we'll be okay and we can continue to climb higher and possibly test the opening range of the session. So there you go, a nice little pop up there again in Tesla. We'll continue to take a little bit off here, guys, as we start to, as this breakout forms. So yeah, there it goes. Oh, rejected. We don't like that. Okay, we'll be patient. We're gonna post up here at 21s to see if we can catch that fill there, guys. Oops, 11, 21, 22, 22. There we go. No, we're okay. We're good to go there. A little bit more out as that breakout is coming into play. And there we go, climbing higher again, Sharif. Nice little pop again. And this is what I'm talking about, that volume sustaining this move as Tesla breaks out. We was talking about the higher lows. So there we go. Nice little trade on TSLA there, my friend, as these tech names start to recover. A Palantir back towards volume, the volume weighted average price. Let's see how we react around 282. What are we sitting at right now? So 280.76, a little bit of room to run. That's going to put us right around some of these pre-market lows here, guys. So, oops, let me pull this out for you guys to see what we can display here. And I think this might be the next potential target. So 281.88, we're going to watch for some overhead resistance right there, my friends.
SES is having trouble with 70 pennies, guys. Watch out with that. 70 generally, multiple levels, a bit above 70. There's a seller posted there keeping the price action down. I've been watching this for a bit. Sky Nicholson is one of their names, and Tiara Brown. So Brown won by split decision, and it was apparently a hell of a fight. I'm going to go back and watch it.
Nice. Nice. I'm pretty sure there's a good fight this weekend, too. Who's fighting this weekend? Oh, it's not Ryan Garcia, is it?
Is it? I think, actually, isn't he fighting Rolly?
No, that was Oh, I'm not going to that anymore. Yeah, he is. He's
Hold on, you were going to that?
Yeah, remember I told you that? Yeah, but then, because Selena's friend runs boxing.
Oh, yeah.
But then Robert Whitaker got another fight in Saudi, I believe, so it's not in. They were not going to New York anymore. So but that would have been fun to go.
Rolly's getting knocked out.
Yeah, Rolly is getting knocked out. When Rolly is 100% getting knocked out. There's no
Ryan Garcia's got fire in his hands, hormones or not.
Let me ask you this: what's the most dangerous punch in combat sports?
It depends on what. If you're okay, so I personally think a conventional fighter, the most underrated punch is a left hook.
It's the
lead left hook.
It's the check hook.
Exactly.
The check hook
Instead
is what gets
who used to lead with the left hook?
Who's that?
Roy Jones Jr.
Bang.
He wouldn't lead with the jab. He led with the left hook.
That hook, that's the most dangerous punch in boxing is that check hook. I remember I was sparring my friend one time and he just tapped me right here.
'Cause you don't see it coming.
And you don't see it coming. And he's seen my eyes go blurry to go, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. But beautiful check hook there, bro. And he rocked me. So, but good luck there, guys. That volume on the 1 minute time frame is starting to dwindle as we pull back. So maybe we can sustain this move, but it's not looking too good. We're going to need some of these big names to participate as Lyft is coming back in and the SPY is coming back in aggressively here too, guys. So maybe that move won't be continued in Tesla.
I love it. Everyone's chiming in, man. Yes. Yoannis, you remember about Roy Jones.
Check hook for sure. Exactly.
Oh, goodness, bro. I mean, until he...
Spinning back fist, says somebody.
I think one of the biggest mistakes he made was moving up to heavyweight to fight John Ruiz, because when he moved back down to light heavyweight to fight Antonio Tarver, he was just never the same fighter again. Yeah. If you watch that John Ruiz fight, he beat up John Ruiz, a guy who was like 30, 40 pounds heavier than him. Then he drops down to 175, and he had to lose muscle for that. That's the thing. He had to become catabolic.
The power.
Yeah, and then he just lost the energy too. I mean, you see, he was playing rope-a-dope with Antonio Tarver. It was like, what? And then obviously he wins that first fight. On a lot of people's cards, he didn't win it, and then he got knocked out in the second, and then he got knocked out again by Glenn Johnson after that. So it was like the end of Roy Jones Jr. there. But
it's boxing, man.
Bro, it's so beautiful. I love watching it, man. Guys, SES is having a lot of trouble with 70 pennies right now, as I mentioned. It is putting in lower highs, but this could be kind of the bull flag compression. I'm trying not to paper hand this trade, but as I mentioned, I've moved up my stop from 64 to 66. I don't mind seeing higher lows, but the lower highs are what are keeping me worried, especially when I see a big boy seller at that 10 penny area, 70 pennies that is, keeping the price action down. Now, I think it is a bit of a hidden seller there because I didn't see too much lottage posted on the actual gateway. So we'll have to see whether that hidden seller has how much money he's got and whether he's able to deal with these longs that are pushing this up incrementally. SES is the one I'm talking about. Good look right now, but I'm waiting for that 73 penny break and take. MLGO is doing the classical stair step down after rocketing up. And this is one of those ones where this is the exception to the rule. We always say we take the escalator up and the elevator down. It kind of feels like the opposite way here. This was kind of the elevator up, and now we're taking the escalator down. What's key to me, though, is we hold above this 15.15 area, which is the volume weighted average price. Otherwise, it may end up in a flat bottom break, and that would be through that $15 area. VWAP and the $15 area awfully close. We're talking about 10, 15 pennies separating the whole dollar from the volume weighted average price. This has been money as a short. Now, I don't have any shorts on MLGO. The Katina man was nice enough to get me some yesterday. I don't have any today, nor do I really want any, to be quite honest with you. But this has been a money short off that upper trend line. It's been very respectful of that upper trend line, save and except for a couple of outliers over here, some false breakouts to, get all the longs offside. So MLGO only up 13.5%, but when you look at the wider time frame over here, this has been moving quite aggressively since the pre-market yesterday. So keeping my eye on it. If it wants to bounce up, make some higher highs. I'm talking about MLGO rather than these umpteen amount of lower highs, then we'll get involved. Otherwise, it's no go for me. There's really not much else, sadly, in small cap gapper world. TNON is doing absolutely nothing, just hugging the volume weighted average price at $4. That's not exactly a glowing endorsement. Ray is putting in lower highs as well. We were involved in Ray successfully, but you can see there it's putting in lower high, lower high, lower high with a possible flat bottom break coming in at 180. We'll see if that ends up manifesting. So not a whole lot for me, sadly, at the moment. I'm just checking my scanner, and I see a new one, the one that Adara actually told us about. We're going to go to Adara breaking news in a second, but here it is, GDHG. I think Adara brought this one to our attention earlier, and now we're getting the breakout, 370. This one's going to be on watch. Tell us the news, Adara.
Keep an eye here on LYFT. We know we had this push up here. Bloomberg reporting that Engine Capital took a $500 million stake in Lyft. They've corrected their report. Apparently, Engine Capital only has a $50 million stake in Lyft. So Bloomberg making an error here with the amount of zeros in this Lyft report, much like Lyft once did with regards to their gross margin guidance, and saying that Engine Capital has acquired a $500 million stake in Lyft. Apparently, actually, that's only $50 million. And again, just to recap the rest of that report, Bloomberg reported that Engine Capital is basically looking to acquire the stake in Lyft for strategic purposes. So they're an activist investor, but apparently the size of their stake quite smaller than initially reported. Keep an eye here on Moderna and PFE as well. Pfizer get a little bit of a spike here as we see circulation on X of an article from the suggesting that the UK Health Security Agency said that H5N1 has the potential to spark a global emergency similar to COVID. So keep an eye here on these healthcare stocks with that in mind. Back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Adara.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, Belinda, I know you said in the chat Jake and Logan Paul are fighting this weekend. I think it's just a premiere of some reality TV show. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily them fighting. I don't know what happened with that. Okay, so Katina Man says long IBIT. When Katina Man says he's long something, you got to take a look and see what's going on. But it is starting to break out here, guys. Nice, strong, healthy 5-minute candle here on IBIT. Good look as it starts continuously increasing. Let's see if this volume really starts to pick up here. It is a little bit low, so let's see if we can classify this, as a genuine move here, guys. But I like that one there on IBIT. T, Apple continuing to climb higher. A nice retest and hold on Tesla. Maybe we will be patient and wait for an additional retest and then decide to hop in. But the MAG looking like it wants to take a leg higher. That's AAPL going, I didn't even mean to do that, to be honest with you. But Amazon looking good, and with these big names looking good, I want to try to participate here. Sharif, going to be patient on this Tesla trade. I don't know if we're ready to squeeze just yet, but I'm surprised that the market, especially the Qs, is starting to approach the high of day. The SPY lagging its peer here, but that's okay. If these big names get the ball rolling, we're going to participate there, my Sharif. Yes, Bear vs. Bulls. Do you have anything going on here? We got to do the playmaker poll.
Oh.
BVB always likes to remind me, so there we go.
All right, I'm ready to go when you're ready.
All right, hold on. I'm ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Oh wow! It's funny. Yeah, she wasn't ready.
Goodness.
What is that? That's Kevin Hart, no?
Yeah.
All right.
So good.
All right.
He's so
talk to me, my friend. What
575.28. We're going long, right?
Going long.
Okay. 575.28. So we're taking profits at 77.28. 577.28, and we're getting stopped out
567.28
at 574.28. So 2 to 1 R to R, as we always say.
Bang.
There it is. Guys, GDHG is absolutely flying. It just broke $4 right now. We're going to cover it in 1 second. Here it is. Sorry, Joseph, I just got to move on to this because it's breaking out big right now. So this is a great looking bull flag continuation play. There's the move up. There's a sideways consolidation between essentially 350 and 320. And there's the big boy break. It looks a little spready right now. So I'm trying to pull it. Dara, man, kill me. These ones are not supposed to be spready. All right, 407. So a 3 penny spread. So that's not going to meet Adara's criteria right there. No. She likes dollars, baby. 420. The high of the day there, Katina Man. I appreciate that. There it is. There, Katina Man is on a doob right there. Zigging and zagging right now with $4. Okay. It's a wow, what a drop. This thing, oh my goodness, look at that. 420 high, drops into 360. It is holding support though. Look at that area top. So it is holding support. So resistance does flip to support. Let's see if we can get continuity here on GDHD. Good look, good midday mover. Let's move it on to the side chart. We're going to take off Donald John Trump and we're going to put in GDHG so we can get an update. This is up about 94%. It's done about 13.5 million shares. So it's got the criteria that we're looking for. Let's give you a little bit more details on it since this is a new trade, GDHG. So it is an 11.3 million share float. About 7% of that 11.3 million shares is borrowed for short, so a decently high short float there. Now, what they actually do, what does this company do? Golden Haven Group, mainly engaged in the management and operation of amusement parks, water parks, and complementary recreational facilities. Good luck. Do they have a catalyst? No, they don't. Not that I can see from today, so we'll keep tabs on that one. I'm also keeping my eye on SES. That keeps finding support off VWAP, so I'm trying not to paper hand this trade despite the fact it's gotten close to my, my entry there. So what I'm going to do, I was going to talk about GME because they report after the bell today because the Katina Man and Adara are going to have that for you guys on the market recap show. But I think that I really need to focus right now on GDHD because it's a big boy break. So let's go ahead and load that up. It is on the NQ. And it is defending still that 3 2/3, 3 1/4, or 3/4 area. So here's the deal. I'm going to get in here and I'm going to look for a hold above that 60 penny area. Now, that might not be a great idea to have such a tight stop, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go long right here, and we're going to go, I'm going to go give it to 55s. Why not? Oh, it's going to break down already. Okay, that's nice. So we'll put that there. Where are we long? 76s. So, oh yeah, it's gonna stop me out, sadly. Well, we give it a shot. We're going to throw that up there. We'll see if it holds this area. It doesn't look like it wants to hold at the moment. It looks like there's a lot of aggressive selling coming in the mid-60s. We'll see if the pop comes in. I'm long 76s, so we're already 10 pennies out of the money on this one. I'm going to wet the beak at 82 if it does pop up. Otherwise, anything below 55s and I'm gone. And here comes 55, so we'll take an L on this one, it looks like, unless it pops up. Okay, back into 70 it goes, so not stopping out quite yet. Let's see what comes of this one, Joseph. What do you got on your side, my man?
Yeah, good look there. Joel Hallsworth was asking me about GDHG. Yeah, nice breakout on that one, especially from a daily standpoint as well, too, guys. But don't chase it. Wait for that pullback, and I think you'll get the entry that you want to. So you can post up at that price. It is only around $3.67. So yeah, I think you'll be okay. Even you sell some. I don't even think it's optionable, to be honest with you. But yeah, nice call on IBIT there, Katina man. Now climbing higher, going to test that high a day. Yeah, there you go, man. There you go. Just throw it up there, man. We'll throw this up there as well too. So really good look. I'm pretty sure he's in around 49.94, 90s maybe roughly, and then climbing higher. So gonna go and test that high day. Nice choppy price action throughout this, but a downward channel, and then you just break all the way through it. So really good look there. Amazon continuing to climb higher. We like that.
Tell them why you're pumped.
Yeah, I told them, man. The options contracts looking really good. And guys, that's what I just referred to time, right? Like here we'll pull out. I like what Sharif was pointing to me too this morning, and I'm like, yeah, I essentially built that same thesis on Amazon. He's like, yeah, look at all these bottoming signals on Meta. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I essentially made this trade based off of that here in Amazon, and I was just risking the lows. So I was in around 95 there, buying those out the monies, and now climbing around 205. So those contracts looking really good. And then I would just hopped out around there, which would have been about I think it was around like a $400 or $500 loss, which is just like, okay, whatever. But yeah, here we go. Nice look here on Amazon. The thing is though, in Tree, it's like, yeah, 220 is in the works. But how long is it going to take to get there? I paid more for those contracts because I don't want to have to worry about time decay or anything along those lines. So that's why I bought that October expiration cycle. And then I sold some calls against the position as well too, just to temporarily hedge the position. But then now I can just go to a ratio spread, close some of the short calls, and then just allow the stock to continue to climb higher. But one thing that I have to note and be wary about is this gap. And if we fill that to the downside, that's not going to be pretty. So maybe I'll close a contract just to lock in some gains up here, because that is a nice move from 195 to 205 there on Amazon, Sharif.
Look at this. Doesn't this make you feel good?
Yeah. Well, not really, obviously.
No, that's so frustrating. And I spoke it out loud. It's not a good idea to have a tight stop like this. Oh, man, that's frustrating. All right, so we'll look to do a little bit better here on GDHD. This was executed poorly. What's going on?
No, Bitcoin broke the high day there.
I like that. Okay, where are we at? Let's check out BTC, see what the situation is there. Okay, so we're now positive. I don't know, everybody's Bitcoin start of the day kind of thing is a little bit different. I have us essentially flat, up 0.03%, 88,327. I was talking to Joseph today, like off camera, when the Katina man and the Neil were on. I was like, are we going to do that $80,000, $90,000 dance in the same way that we did that $90,000 to $100,000 dance? I mean, it seems to be like it lives its life $10,000 ranges at a time. So we'll see exactly what Bitcoin has to offer on the day. Not much in the way of positivity today in Bitcoin world, except for MicroStrategies, which for whatever reason is up almost 2%. Let's have a look at MSTR, one that Adara trades often, by the way. Get it, Adara. So here's the deal. MSTR, good looking double bottom with a neckline break there. This is the 4 hour on MSTR. It's almost at the high of the day, 343. That's incorrect. 343.37 is the high of the day. It's well off that, 341. It's about $2 off that high day, but when you're looking at the 4 hour, it kind of looks a little convoluted. Looking at it a little bit wider, it's still a downward channel, to be quite honest with you. So there it is, lower highs all the way through, and you're seeing that same sentiment with the lows. So on the 4 hour, MSTR seems to be locked into that that lower high, lower low situation on the 4 hour. Where are we at here in terms of the ranges? So this is the high end of the range. Obviously, if you're looking at this channel, with about 210 being the low end of the range there. Wow, 340 something and then 210 as that range, but that's the way it is. I mean, I'm not making it up. So that's the situation right now on MicroStrategies. MLGO just aggressively dipped in below the volume weighted average price. It's trying to fight right now to get back up, but this is what we were talking about, man. The lower highs here were operative. The shorts have been in control essentially since we put in that subsequent lower high at 1140. Every successive high after that, a little bit lower than its predecessor, and then this just dipped into 14 for a second, which is essentially the break-even point on the day. That is where we closed out yesterday at $14, and then it rockets up to 15.14, trading above VWAP. I don't mind getting long on this one, but it's going to have to show me that curling effect and higher highs to kind of prove that the sellers are no longer in control and that the buyers are taking over. You're not seeing that quite. You're not seeing that at all. All you see is lower highs all over the place here. Okay, so now I don't feel as bad about this GDHD trade, despite the fact that I got out bottom weight because I ended up making a lower low. So this one looks like it's giving up the ghost here. Just want to let you know that VWAP is around 320 and the 10 exponential is right here at 333. So we're bouncing right now. It looks like off the 10 exponential with that 3.25 being VWAP. Let's see if we find support here on GDHDs. Well off the highs, about 70 pennies off the highs, but still up about 74% on the day. All's ones. Sharif, could you check out Wolf on the 1 month chart? Bull flag, or am I dumb? You're not dumb. I can just tell you that off the jump there, but let's have a look at Wolf on the
Start
month.
off with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to start off. Hey, you're stupid. All right, let's have a look at the monthly over here on WOLF. On the month chart, are you sure you want me to look at the month chart, brother? Because this is all I'm seeing on the month chart, and that definitely not a bull flag. That's a downward channel, and this is bleeding like crazy. That's a month chart. Let me look at something different here. The daily, does it show me something different on the daily? No, still lower highs on the daily. How about let's go to the 10. This was kind of a bull flag. If you're looking for what a bull flag looks like, it's kind of a big move up and then a sideways consolidation. But the key thing to look for in a bull flag is that it's kind of foreshadowing what may come next. So what you're looking for typically is a continuation of that strength on the bull flag. You didn't get it here. Like, this is the price action on the 21st. You got a big move up, a sideways consolidation, then you did nothing the next day, and we've done nothing today. So I would say no, I don't see a bull flag on the monthly chart, that's for sure, because you just have this huge down move. This looks like a head and shoulders if you want patterns over here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline, brain could tank. Like, this is a classic head and shoulders pattern right here. So that's the situation. Adara, who's paying us bills?
It's time to hear to thank our friends at WorkSport, introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ. WorkSport, ticker WKSP. WorkSport is a U.S.-based manufacturer, and they're rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, WorkSport has you covered. They're now trading on the NASDAQ under ticker WKSP. So discover the future of clean energy with WorkSport. Back to the guys.
You can see, guys, Katina Man short Tesla. That's working out really nice for him right now. But again, just on the opposite side, got that nice little pop, and then we got out here, and then now breaking through those key levels and heading down, continuing that southeast movement here in Tesla. And the market looks like it wants to take another leg down as well. I do like this potential IBIT short there too, guys, especially off of this candle at some key levels. You can see that we were just mid-range and couldn't climb any higher. But when a name is this strong, we want to wait for a little bit more indecision here, guys, in order to get short. But the risk profile is there. All you got to do is risk to 50.24 and then hope that you can get that breakdown and then head towards the volume weighted average price there. But yeah, so what I was doing is I was looking, okay, so I seen that there was Jedi. So Jedi, any thoughts on Amazon for swing consideration, considering April 2nd tariffs? See, the issue is, and all I can do is just speak from it from my perspective, is that I think I wouldn't want to chase it all the way up here, right? Like I'm in on some calls from here, but then again, I'm already like $10 in the money from that standpoint. According to the contracts, only 5. But I wouldn't wait. I think there's going to be somewhat of a pullback. I'm pretty sure I'm going to lock in some gains on those contracts here and then just wait for this to hold. And then maybe you can get a pullback to 200, maybe even a little bit south of that. And then you can get that move to 218 because that's going to be my primary target, right? I would like to hold that for that. But just from a signal standpoint, there's nothing like that says, hey, we're going to get that deep of a move. And we'll take a look at it from a percentage metric to see what we would be sitting at roughly around there. So yeah, that's a 14% move essentially. I don't know if we're gonna get that in this market, especially come April 2nd. We just got to be really, really patient and see what's going on because again, I mentioned in the SPY and the Qs, people are looking for that 5 to 10% pullback, and we're sitting at half of that right now. So from the bottom on the SPY to where we're currently trading at is about 4.9%. So. Yeah, how much higher can it go? Yeah, I think we'll be lucky if we tap into 591. So yeah, nice look there on Tesla short there, Katina man. That's
where printing.
Yeah, that one worked out really nice for him. And the market seems to want to continuously bleed here as well too, Sharif. So that is the look on some of those names, my friend.
Yeah. So what do we always say about these small cappers, Joseph?
They're not here for a long time, just a good time.
That's just so perfectly said.
Bang.
And there it is. They're not around for a long time, Joseph.
Yeah.
They're just only around for a good time. Halted to the downside right now. Sadly, GDHD, not feeling bad about that trade anymore because this would have been a lot worse. Halted, sadly, 249 right now. Let's find out what the theoretical auction price is to see if we're dropping down more. Yes, we are the top. The theoretical auction price, 241 right now on GDHD. Really losing the bid at the moment. It's below everything for me. Below VWAP, the 10, the 20, the 50. It's only above the 200. Barely positive on the day. If it breaks that $2 area, it will go negative. So GDHD dropping. And so is MLGO. Look at this flat bottom break. Wait for the animation to finish. There we go. MLGO is really losing it right now. Look at this thing tank, man. Wow. Flat bottom break city from $15. We just lost 12, 11.75 here on MLGO. It is now negative on the day, about 12% negative. Yeah, guys, I mean, I don't know how many times I have to tell myself to. And the Katina man was nice enough to get me shorts for MLGO yesterday. I didn't ask him for any today. That's on me. And this would have been absolute money. Below that volume weighted average price, $15 drop. It dropped all the way down into 11.75, 11.45, something like that. So MLGO losing the bid right now. Look for resistance at a couple of areas here, guys. If you're looking, if you're in the short. You're looking for $14. That's the line in the sand today between positive and negative. That's where we closed out yesterday. So the yesterday's closing print, $14. In addition to that, if you clear that $14 level to the high side, that is, you're looking at VWAP now as resistance. Used it as support before. It will be likely a little bit of a different story this time. So currently VWAP a skosh above that, a skosh higher above that $15 area at about 15.10, give or take. So MLGO all sorts of weak right now, much like GDHD. So the small cap gappers giving up the ghost. Sadly here midday, and so is TNON. Not like I was ever inclined to trade this below the pre-market high, but it also lost $4. By extension of that, it lost VWAP. So keep your eye out on this 327 area. If it loses 327 or 3.25, it could get a lot worse, and we could see something maybe into that $1.75. Here's why I say that. So that's the pre-market, or not the pre-market low, excuse me. That's the day low, right at 327 that we printed at 11 o'clock. If we lose that level, we're looking likely at 3 for the pre-market high area top. And then if we really lose it, we're looking at that aftermarket area high yesterday at $1.75 as support. Adara, what's up?
Hey. No, I think we're going Profit X here, Sharif. So in sports playing, flexibility is everything. At Profit X, you can see the order book just like the financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why settle for a single offered price when you can set your own? Plus, our mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. Profit X, where you can call the shots anytime, anywhere there, guys. Profit X, that's interesting. You can call the shots anywhere. Scan that QR code. I know Neil and Sean were messing around with it.
Talking about
looking to play some bets there. So Profit X.
Yeah, anytime I don't think I've ever placed a sports bet, if I can remember correctly. I might be wrong about that. If I do,
Profit X.
I know where to go. Profit X, baby.
You can create your own line, so that's interesting.
When's the last time you took a shot into the old gambling world?
It's been a while. It's been a
minute?
while.
Yeah.
Probably close to 2 years.
Seriously, yeah. But you were a pro line guy for a
I was
bit,
like, if I'm going anything, it's just like, all right, I like a UFC fight. I'll go to the convenience store and put like $50 on a money line. So that's just like a win straight up or anything like that.
I like it.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Dude, I'm not, like I told you, I was in love with football. Just being played with it, like I had every Madden for so long. I loved absolutely everything about football. And then, the love just dwindled, man. The constant flags, the stop and start of the game, right? It was
that was always the case, though.
It was just so frustrating to watch and just be a part of. So I just had enough of it. So
that's what my cousin's like. We always go back and forth. He's a hockey guy, right?
Yeah.
Played select all his life. So he's like, he's right down that alley. I played high school football, so that's my alley. And that's his big thing about football. He doesn't like to start and stop.
Stop and start, right?
Yeah, and he's obviously a hockey guy where that's not an issue, right? Very fluid game. I just find hockey to be a little scrappy. I know I'm touching because I know you're a hockey guy. I just find it a little scrappy. Like the puck changes hands so many times, and coming from soccer where the ball doesn't change hands as often,
as quickly. Yeah.
That's just always been my criticism.
I mean, like from watching hockey, to be honest with you, I would rather watch I don't even watch basketball, but from watching something, I prefer to watch combat sports. I think it's the most exhilarating. Like for me, a UFC fight, there's no other sport in a span of like 5 seconds where you're like, right? Like football, it's like, okay, hut, 5 seconds later, play's dead. It takes another 20 seconds to get the next play going. And so it's like the time of playing is so little compared to what's actually on the clock. Like each play is like the max play is like 8 seconds or 9 seconds long, right? So I just felt
like football's like a very American sport. It's very like combat.
It's combat chess, essentially.
Exactly.
Right?
You've got the offensive coordinator in like a box somewhere observing the field, drawing out plays. It's like literally war, but on the field, which Americans excel at. Let's just be honest, right?
One thing that frustrates me about football too is that like you'll have those games where you couldn't buy an inch, right? Like no matter what, you can't get anything working.
Boring.
But then near the end of the game, somehow the field just opens up and everything you throw is like a 15-yard play.
Oh, because you're in the 2-yard. The 2 minute. What's it called?
2 minute drill, right? You're in the 2 minute drill, and then I guess like the secondary is just more defending the end zone, right? Exactly. So for me, it's just like okay, you guys got 10 rushing yards throughout the whole game, but
now you're moving like no problem.
Yeah, with a couple minutes left.
That does frustrate the hell out of me as well. It's like where was this offense before, or why is the defense so weak now but so good before?
Like 45 minutes
it's a 2 minute
ago,
drill, though.
right? Yeah.
Right?
So.
Bovin, thank you. FGBL, it's good, Bovin, but it's got to hold above VWAP. But guys, I want to talk about Ray here because this is bamboozlement central on Ray. So while Joseph was talking, I was keeping my eye on the side charts, and look what Ray did. Like, this is the kind of thing that you have to put up with if you're going to trade these small cap gappers. Look at this. It clears all the levels. It takes out that 208. It's above VWAP. And then it takes out the level from the high side and then takes out the level from the low side. So this got all the longs and all the shorts stuck on both sides. So very frustrating. And I was actually going to punch here once this took out the 208 level. I was just looking for a move back into VWAP possibly, and it didn't even hold up at VWAP. It kept going. So RAY on my S list right now. It was a bit of a tough one yesterday, and it looks like that today. I'm still holding SES because it's showing me support at the volume-weighted average price. And if I observe this here, it incrementally putting in those higher lows. Not by much, but I'm looking for a possible squeeze, especially if the volume really supports that. So my stop stays the same. It's below 66 pennies. It didn't breach that level yet, so I didn't get stopped out. I'm talking about SES. But now let's look at the one that Bovin was talking about there. We're going to take off IOBT because this is done bupkis. FBGL is the ticker on that one, and there you go. A big move up into that $1.86, drops all the way down, defends for the most part that $1.50 and the volume weighted average price, and now it's doing its best to stay above VWAP at the moment, but well off the highs. Let's see what FB, GL has to offer. Let's throw in that ticker there so everyone can follow along. See what this one has to offer. Now, if I was to punch in here, my out would be prior candle low. So right now, the current candle low is 150. I'd be putting my prior candle low at $1.47. And there's a reason, super simple reason for that. I'm looking for trend here, right? And obviously, the most important of the trends is the higher highs, because that's where you take profits. But not as important, but very important, is the higher lows. So that's why I place my stop below previous candle low, because if we make a new low, then we don't have that higher low pattern, and then I don't know if I want to be in this trade. So $1.60 right now is the current price action, with the current candle low at $1.50. The previous candle low, though, is $1.47. That's where I place my stop on FBGL. Ugly topping tail candle in the 186, but it's trying to defend that VWAP area. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, good luck there, my friend. So I just took off half the position here on this I-bit short. You can see that we're running into these resistance zones. So if we run into a pop, I added here. So I was at a full risk unit just opposed to half, but it looks like it wants to squeeze. It is a strong underlying asset, but the market is heading into these lows, guys. So that is something that we need to continue to monitor and pay attention. But let's see if we can catch a fill here on IBIT at 50s. That would be nice. We'll take an additional 33% off there. But yeah, the market is really,
like the Bay.
Yeah, I know. See you later, the Bay. Eh? Only 6 stores. I mean, like, as for the Canadian real, I like the Hudson's Bay is, I guess, a Canadian like focal point, right?
1640 or 1660?
1640.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's how long this company's existed in
Right.
Canada. It's called the Hudson's Bay Company.
Yeah,
it's no
HBC.
longer owned by, exactly.
Yeah,
it's no longer
HBC.
owned by Canadians, but now they're just holding on for dear life. That's what we're talking about there, guys.
So,
yeah.
I mean, dude, like, just to head into this retail space, I think just the domination of social media and people buying online is really, really hindering some of these companies, especially like Hudson's Bay Company, right? Like, I guess it's kind of like a Saks Fifth. You go in there, you get a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
Nice Canadian material and other brand names as well too, whether it be Diesel, et cetera, whatever you like. I remember Raw used to be G-Star, is something that I used to wear and get from there. But yeah, it's really unfortunate to see these companies going down. I don't think Nordstrom is Canadian, but Hudson's Bay, I remember going there and shopping.
Oh yeah.
And again, I'll bring it back, like the athleisure wear and just the ability to buy things online really hurting the brick and mortar, I believe.
Randy, you wanna talk a little Hummer? If you gotta grab the mic though if you want. I was going on. I was telling Joseph that this is kind of one of my favorite cars right now because it combines two things that I love the most, Randy. One are SUVs, you already know that, but I also have a great affinity for convertibles. And this kind of gives you a little bit of that. So we can run the tape here. Look at this, Joseph. Look how he's taking off those panels and look how they go in the front trunk. You needn't be a schmuck and put those in the garage or anything like that. They fit neatly in the front trunk and it becomes a full bad boy convertible. Randy,
and it's cool. You can take like 2 off too as well. Just
individual ones, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Randy,
That is pretty cool.
give us the goods, baby.
Issue, I've seen this a couple years in a row at the auto show here in town. I have issues.
Tell us what the issues are.
Okay, number one, this thing weighs 9,000 pounds.
It does. It's big.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Mas grande.
It's a school bus. Yeah, Neil said. It's huge. I don't. It's got a massive pack, a reasonable range.
Look at that.
It's a little obtuse.
Obtuse. It is a little, especially when it's this high up. Like he's obviously put the air ride suspension to the max.
Yeah,
what is that? Like 2 feet of ground clearance?
It's sure. I mean, if you're gonna go off road, I'd hate to get it stuck. But I used to off road and had vehicles with big tires and all that stuff a long time ago. It's not a
You don't like
great
it, Randy?
DD. Definitely not a city vehicle.
No. That's what my old man said.
No.
He's like, you're going to kill all the cyclists on your way to work. And
Yeah,
I
they
said,
get wedged in the grill or something. I don't know. It's a little large. I don't know. It's a Wile E. Coyote vehicle, I think. It's just kind of...
You're not a fan, though, huh?
No,
Genuinely,
I'll
you're not a
pass.
fan.
I'll go.
Like, it's not like, no, I like it, but I wouldn't buy it type thing. It's like an all-out, I don't like it type. Is that the Randy verdict?
It's just not for... It's the most unsubtle vehicle, I think, next to the Cybertruck.
I don't think the Hummer has any subtlety whatsoever.
No, it's very, as I said, obtuse.
Look at this, Randy. Look at how easy it is to remove those roof panels. They're all mechanical, super easy to take off. And I love the badging too, man. Like it doesn't feel like any of these like higher end SUVs are as subtle as they used to be in the 90s. You'd only like get like a couple of markings before where it'd say Hummer and a couple of places on the outside. Now it's tattooed everywhere. You know you're driving a Hummer everywhere you look in this car.
If you don't know you're driving this thing, you've got other issues. It's just... I mean, you could see right across town in this thing. It's
Look
huge.
at all the moon landing.
Yeah,
themes. A lot of Easter eggs in that.
There's a lot of branding, and
Yeah.
I don't know. If you live in Texas, I guess I just
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea,
why not
so to
here?
speak.
Why not here? Because there's bike lanes everywhere.
Oh,
Joseph,
yeah.
and,
So my question, and GM put a lot of engineering into this, and this is before the Lyric and all the electric Cadillacs hit the market. You know, the amount of development that went into this singular platform, it's 2 models now, but it's a singular platform. And it's not modular. There's never going to be a Cadillac or a GMC version of this, I don't think. So it's a very esoteric sort of singular platform, and the return on the sales, I don't know how many they sold, I couldn't tell you. You can probably look it up.
Probably not that many.
It just doesn't seem their greatest effort. It just,
I respect that.
Now that being
weapon
said,
to your head
there
before
was
you
smaller
continue.
Hummers in the past.
Okay.
The H2, the H3.
Yes.
Would they make a smaller version based on the Equinox Electric, on the Lyric?
Yeah, so like the R2 kind of, like
Right.
R1 or like whatever, I know it's the R2T, so to speak.
We've had
kind
this
of thing,
discussion.
yeah.
They seem to go big on the launch, and then they, like as per Rivian, the R1S,
Yep.
and then they're going to downsize from there. Does that cover their development costs up front with a higher profit margin initially? What do they learn from building that platform? Like I said, I'm not entirely sold on the whole thing.
So weapon to your head, Randy. Cybertruck or Hummer EV?
I'd probably walk.
No, you can't. You got to choose.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
We'll take a Cybertruck.
Okay. I would. You'll take a Cybertruck?
I would if I had to
Fair.
to choose. I would probably take a Cybertruck.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, by the way, I was looking at building this bad boy. The tonneau cover option. Why is it $10,000?
Good question.
Why the hell is the power tonneau cover option $10,000 and basic on the Tesla when they have very similar starting prices?
I don't know. And then they sell a Tesla ATV that goes in the back of the Cybertruck. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Look it up. Google that.
The 4-wheel like off-roader?
It's a little sport ATV, electric, of course,
sick.
that actually nests in the back, in the bed, the box, whatever. I've seen one used for sale. They're $3,000 or $4,000. I just...
Are they made by Tesla or is it like a novelty thing?
I don't know.
Interesting.
It's a very question mark. I don't know. Not a lot of discussion about them, but they are out there. So
I was sold on this car the Hummer a long time ago. Fell out of favor. I don't know why. I stopped looking. And then it rekindled. It always seems to rekindle around summer because I always long for that convertible.
Yeah,
but I want that
I get you.
SUV look, and it offers the best of both worlds. And I haven't been able to get that anywhere else other than the Wrangler, of course, because the Wrangler has that roof that you can get an SUV.
The Bronco Sport. The roof comes off. Top comes down. Great summer thing. Yeah, I had Jeeps. Took the doors off. It was wonderful back 30 years ago. But the Hummer just doesn't seem
Doesn't do it for you.
to fit in my ballpark.
We got to pay a bill, Joseph.
All right,
Randy. So Joseph, take
Let's
it.
go. New traders, listen up. First month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything infinite. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with bat testing, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description right there, folks.
Hey.
Check it out to see what we got going on. Yeah, so that IBIT short worked out half decently well. We did get stopped out about 20% of it at that break even there, guys. Nice little pop down, adding to the position, and then we get that move. I was looking for that continuation to the volume weighted average price, especially with this weak market sentiment. So that is that trade there. I'm not going to chase this move lower because I do believe it's one of the stronger underlyings on today's session. You can see that the market was heading towards the low, and we were holding steady Eddie here in IBIT, and that's exactly what we want to see in strong assets. So a nice little pop down to the downside there, guys, and that is IBIT. Now, Vecna. Vecna told me, say, hey, Joe, watch out for Big Bear AI. It's got a 15% short flow, but he said, this is it. Like, this is the only opportunity I have to get into this name. But it's not squeezing necessarily there, Vecna. So I'm going to be a little bit patient. I don't want to chase it all the way here. We can pull up BBAI to see what we got going on. A nice potential double bottom there as well. You can see those levels being held relatively well and a good bounce, and it's climbing. So Vecna, you're right. Your thesis is working out right now, and you were telling me all the way at these lows, and I said, brother, I don't see anything that is eye-popping to me, but a nice amount of indecision prints right around these areas, and then you get that nice move to the top side. So I do believe that 364 might be in the works for today. That would put us at some opening drive lows and some nice support that can act as resistant zones as well too. So
still selling on the pop into that area, like the portfolio.
Oh, the portfolio?
Not Bitcoin, because I know that IBIT is kind of the long-term thing.
Yeah, well,
the thesis still stays the same?
Yeah, thesis is still the same, except for I told you guys with my Tesla trade, I didn't stick to the game plan, which was unfortunate. I'll show you guys where I got out, and that's where I was catching some heat. For some people, they're like, yeah, Joe, let me know when you're selling because I'm buying. And I'm like, all right, my guy, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, Sharif, unfortunately, I was out on Tesla, was it 35? So I was out down here on this name. And it climbed higher, but I just rotated to hood, and yeah, that's it. I'm sitting on some cash as well too. As for like Google and Apple, I think I'll hold on to Google a little bit longer because I have more cushion on that front. But as for Tesla, I'm not worried about that play at all. I do believe that Google can recover significantly better than Tesla, essentially. But as for Tesla, I'm honestly happy to be in this name because I believe in a year or so there's going to be an opportunity to get in there, and especially when deliveries come out, I think that can give us a new opportunity to get in at the 200.
It's good look, man. I think I'm going to stick with the game plan. Yeah. We pop back into that. Let's show the area that you and I were talking about, because I think you and I were, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we were kind of in consensus.
On the same page, yeah.
Let's go to the NQ June contract. Show yourself June contract. Here we are. Futures, June. So that's not what I want right there. Let's go to the daily. Oops, excuse me. We might have to actually go to the previous contract or the continuous. Yes, it's in and around this area. So 21.5 to 21.25. I perceive this to kind of possibly be a bit of a double top, with that being the neckline. Now, what we know about TA, especially with double tops, is that the neckline and the head and shoulders gets tested after it loses, after you break through it. So if you were to perceive, and I'm not saying this is, if you were to perceive, this is one area of the M, and there's the other peak of the M, with this kind of being the middle of the V of the M right there at 21.50, then when you move up into this area, you should be testing, or not should, sometimes you come back in and test the neckline of the double top, and then it ends up rejecting. So I'm going to stick to my plan. I'm going to get rid of everything at around right here, 21.50, if we do move back into that area. And then if we break highs again, then we can have a conversation at the time. But I think I will de-risk.
So just swing account you're referring to, right? Or
Yes. Oh yeah. The long term doesn't.
You don't
I don't ever touch a long term. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because I've talked to you about the bond market. I've made my position clear on the show. I think that the U.S. debt is unsustainable, and the payments on the U.S. debt is unsustainable. So they're going to be really trying to push down the shorter dated yields. The only way to do that is to raise bond prices, and that money's going to come from somewhere. I think it comes from the equity market, sadly. So there'll be a redistribution of cash. That's just my bias. I have no, obviously, inside knowledge or anything like that. So that's going to be my move. If we do continue here with the strength in the overall market, I'll be looking to sell around 21.50. I want to mention this trade on SES because there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened since we spoke about it last. So it had this kind of curling effect where it was putting in higher lows on the 5. It spiked up into 72 pennies. I didn't take any profits there. I was waiting for that 73 area pop and clear. It didn't happen. In fact, it was 1 penny lower. So it looks like the shorts were more exuberant than the buyers there, moving down their shorts out or their profit taking, depending on whether they were long. And then basically tanked this one at 72 pennies. I watched for a little bit to see whether it would defend the volume weighted average price. It came into 66, tried to hold, lost the bid. It dropped to 64, so I broke even on the last remaining amount, but it looks like it's trying to reclaim the volume weighted average price right now. I feel a little bit bad having had the opportunity to take profits at 72 pennies, not having taken it, now breaking even with the last little amount there. But there was really no way for me to know that 73 was going to be, or that 72 area was going to be a double top. So I'm done with this trade. I'm currently in no trades at the moment, but there is one that could be working its way onto the scene now. I'm talking about FBGL. I mentioned this one in passing before. It's holding VWAP quite well. It has the entire time as we've moved up. Now, the range per candle, it's not a very expensive stock, but the range per candle is quite wide, especially when you look at the previous area ranges. It's a lot wider than it was before. Just to keep it simple there. So $1.60 is where VWAP is, and it's been defending VWAP for the most part over here with that $1.90 being the high of the day. The area lows are all a little bit higher. So if you're looking at this area low over here, another high, and then we kind of break out, test VWAP. So if you're looking at it like this, it is still defending that lower trend line on FBGL. This could be an interesting long right here because it is VWAP overlapping with the 10 exponential moving average. Both are indicators that I use for these small cap gappers. So keep your eye on FBGL. It looks like the best of the small cap gappers at the moment. MLGO is just lost the bid. This thing was up 30%. Now it's down 24%. So bamboozlement central, lots of volatility on these names. Be careful trading them. GDHG as well as lost the bid. SES, as I was talking about, Ray's been bamboozlement, and TNON I had no trade on because it didn't break the pre-market high, so I was just not going to work my way into there. HMR I have a loser on today, even though I did extract some profitability on that on the pop. It's at VWAP right now, getting into that 3 1/3, popping back into the 3 low 40s. So nothing for me other than FBGL at the moment. So do I have this one up on the trading screen? Yeah, we do. Let's give this one the old college try, see if we can weasel into this one. My out is going to be prior candle low, so we're going to put it at $1.49. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, good look there. I'm just reading some stuff on Tesla deliveries. I believe so extends rally with Q1 delivery date. This was printed today. Shares bumped higher on Tuesday. Following that, Monday with a near leap for 12% leap in the EV market, which I'm not sure. I'm trying to confirm if it's when these Q1 deliveries are going to come out. Let me know if it's next week, guys. I have a source telling me so. If you guys can confirm that, that'll be exciting. And I think I don't know. We'll be patient. We'll be patient and wait to see what happens with that. But again, yeah. Name of the game, wait for those deliveries, and then you're definitely going to see some price action movement there and the volatility really kick in on that name. So yeah, here we go, guys. I tried another short here on IBIT, but then once it just hovered around the top of this range, I'm like, all right, yeah, I don't want to necessarily short it right now, but I do believe it can continue to climb lower. The market is a pretty choppy mess here, guys.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah, so it's not the best. I mean, it could be a consolidation zone, but as for PA today, there's nothing distinctive right right? Like you get no continuation within the trends. So that's going to affect the VIX as well too. So volatility slightly stepping down, I believe. So here we go. Just trading within that $2 range roughly on the day is the overall market. I'll try this IBIT short one more time for the push of the volume weighted average price. And if it breaks 50.10, then I'll just get out. But yeah, nice little move downward. The volume is really low on IBIT. And that's why I'm just aiming for VWAP. If the market wants to continue to bleed, I believe that it will drag Bitcoin down with it. And that's not too hefty of a haircut here on IBIT. So yeah, the first entry would have been just if I held on to it a little bit longer, but that's okay. Now climbing down, breaking through some key support zones. We're not going to add to the until the retest, and then we'll add and look for that test of 49.90 there on IBIT. So yeah, nice continuation of the short there on IBIT, guys. So yeah, what else? What's everybody looking at? We got about 13 minutes left here in the show. Post anything that you want us to go over. If you're curious about what we see on the options chain, etc., feel free to message me, tag me in the chat, and we'll go over some of these names. But let's take a look at some of the top volume names. I'm sure that Tesla's at the top of its class as usual. So let's see. So TSLA putting in a lot of volume here today, guys. 180 million shares. NVIDIA with 114, and then the actual underlying Tesla with 101 million shares traded. And in that fourth place slot, we have Palantir with 55 million shares traded. Let's take a look at Tesla. And for the amount of volume, you would think you would see maybe a little bit more orderly type price action. We'll pull up a higher time frame. But here it is, just a lot of it stepping in on that 5-minute opening range drive. Really, really weak and struggled to recover. It's more of a slow grind, but still not even coming anywhere close to that opening price here, guys. So gonna keep an eye out on Tesla. Let's see what everybody else is looking at in the chat. Lunar Gold. Okay, well, I can only do one there. JC, yeah, you stacked them up to see if I would go through them. So I'll pick one here, and that'll be gold. We'll take a look at GLD. Has it pulled back? This asset class has been really, really strong here, guys, on GLD. Let's see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. Have we pulled back? And I was looking to get in here at that hammer print, and I'm like, nah, yeah, gold. I had put in but I didn't, right? So, but now pulling back in, a beautiful hedge on the overall market and against tariffs. So, does GME, is GME report tonight? What's going on with GME? Okay, so GME does report tonight. I don't love this name. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's completely out of play, and that craze is actually so far gone. I don't think you're going to ever recover back to those levels. You got to take into consideration the short float. So I don't want to crush anybody's dreams or anything like that. But GME, not something that I would want to be playing. And let's look at Amazon. I've been going over Amazon all day, Stefan. We like Amazon. We might get a pullback in it. So we'll be patient from a daily standpoint, that is. But let's see what Adair's up to.
In light here of the GME earnings mentioned, I wanted to share this graphic we just posted less than a minute ago here on TTV Research. This is really GME's kind of revenue and stock price journey around when it started to gain retail attention. I just went here from the start of 2020 and then ended at the most recent quarter. But as you can see here, this stock really has had some ebbs and flows. Of course, here the height, though, during Q1 and Q2 2021, when Roaring Kitty, you can see pictured right here in his famous garb, really sent the stock upwards during that epic short squeeze for the stock. Then, of course, we have Ryan Cohen taking over as CEO after serving as chairman for the company for a few years prior. And then, of course, Keith Gill's return to X after about 3 years, setting the stock price higher once again. So you could relive this whole journey and look at it, stock price and revenue in billions here on X. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Excellent infographic as always. Shout out to the OG Darwood putting in the expected move, plus or minus 9.7%. Previous, I don't know what PAYS means. Is that an options thing?
I don't see that.
I don't know.
No, I don't. Yeah, sorry, I have no idea what that
All right, I just want to cover something over here on FBGL. We got long 66s, scalped all the way up into 82s. I'm waiting right now for my last beak wetter at 94s. This was a VWAP bounce, plain and simple. That's all it came down to. It was putting in higher lows, so we punched in long at VWAP. Currently have that top wick at 82, but definitely looking for that high at daybreak. Currently, the high day is that $1.90, and we did take out the previous high high a day on the last high day attempt. So that candle at 135 took out the high that we put in at 110. So let's see if we can continue with the higher low and higher high situation. You can see that this one is not spending too much time at the highs. It seems to make that high and then it's met with aggressive selling. So the point of me telling you that is to put those resting orders there so that they can capture the fleeting price action, because that's what it is right now. Very fleeting at the highs on FBGL, up a healthy 55% now, but a little bit off the high. So packing my patience on this one. I want to see what we get over here, possibly into the high side. Zach, Frack, Sharif, Joseph, any thoughts on Big Bear AI in the short term? Let's have a look. It's one that I had actually on my my small cap gapper side chart today, but I had to remove because it was like breaking down, so that wasn't the move. Let's go. This is the daily on BBAI. Let's flip to the 5. It's below VWAP. That's why I took it off. So it had a nice, it was a really good look yesterday. Geez, BBAI, a fantastic look. So from 4 a.m. to that final print that we had at 8 p.m., we were about 20% in the green. Not the biggest day it's ever had, but not bad either. So good day yesterday. Today, very much I don't want to say an inside day because that's incorrect. We made a new high today, but we're definitely not really, continuing with that same vigor that we had yesterday. So today's high, 383, well higher than that 358 high yesterday. So let's go to the 4 hour so we can kind of get a wider view of things here on BBAI. So it looks like it's found its base right around $3, give or take. I mean, it has been in the 290s, but very briefly, it seems to find a lot of support at that $3 area. So let's see if it can clear. Did it already clear? There is resistance, previous resistance at that 350. Look at that long area consolidation from January 27th, essentially to January 30th. Couldn't break that $3 area. Looks like it's clearing it now. It's just that big stair step down on BBAI that keeps me a little bit concerned about it. Let's flip to the daily, see if there was anything else we can see on the daily over here. Anticipate some resistance, I guess, at 450, area crest there, as well as $5. Not unusual for me to say that, given that they are the whole dollar. I don't know, it looks like it's found its base. That's really all I can say about that. And the purple line, that's the 200, what's it called? Simple, and the blue line is gonna be the exponential. I threw the simple on there because it's a bit of a different look when you're charting on the daily. It's more simple friendly than exponential friendly. Exponential I leave on for intraday trades. So a tougher look on BBI. I gotta tell you, I don't really have much of a read. I'm sorry that doesn't help, but that's just the truth there. Anything else from you guys? Okay, no. Really commenting on anything there. So we'll keep an eye on the current trade that we've got, which is FBGL. A couple of shekels in the money, but off the highs, waiting for that 194 high day break. Joseph, what do you got on your side, man?
Yeah, nice look there, brother. We're still sitting in this I bid short, looking for the test of the volume weighted average price, but we're just not getting it. So you can see that we were in here, add to the position, peace out, outbreak even, and then we entered again. Should have held on to this one, but that's okay. Just like a paper cut there, small size, and then back into it here. We're waiting for the break of this pivot here, and then maybe we just go and test view up, because that's the primary target, especially if the market wants to be weak. But again, it does look like it's putting in a potential bottom here, guys. So that a double bottom to be exact. So maybe not. Yeah, slightly exaggeration. But what you can see is that we're constructing higher lows. That is a positive sign. If we were to just draw this trend line from here, holding nice and steady, as long as we don't break that and head on to the back half of this, I think that we can continue to slowly grind higher. But once we crack this trend here from the previous couple of sessions, then we can climb. Man, coffee gives me hiccups. But yeah, anyways, here we go. Let's see if this holds. If it breaks in the coming days or this afternoon, you might want to look out for some next trends there to be placed into tact and some next levels. But this is kind of just free roaming in this space. And if it breaks lower, then you got to look for that next support and resistance zone, which can lead us to here, I'll mark this one out for you guys. And then just paying attention to the chain as well. I mentioned that open interest at 494, and there we go, 493.64. Man, I really got to build a serious playbook off of this here, just because they come more often than not. They're really coming into play, just utilizing the chain and high levels of OI to find resistance and support zones, and just wait for the magnet effect to come into play, and then the rejection of them. Because we talk about it a lot here, Sharif. So gonna start building something, take it really serious, and collecting some data points there, guys, to see if that really works out, especially in the overall market. We'll start small, and we're not gonna be all over the place with underlyings. What we'll do is we'll just focus on the cues, like the playmaker pool. We'll just focus on the cues for a little bit, find those high levels of open interest shortly after the open, and then look for the rejection of those key levels.
And I want to give you credit for that. I feel like you're really good with data collection.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and like that's something that I'd like to work on as well. I know that you guys are all about that on the floor here, man. And
I mean, it's just good, right? Because like when I have really good days, I want to go back and see what I did really good. Right, and just kind of just emphasize on that. So that's why I always like do my morning notes and then just collect screenshots of everything.
Have you ever thrown your data into like an LLM and been like, find patterns for me?
No,
that maybe that you've never seen.
I've never done that. No, I used to have this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I've never done that. I used to have this platform called Chartlog, which was really good. So it'll tell you where you, like what percentage metric you have from the long to the short side, where you're more efficient, the time of day that you're more efficient, etc. But as for like logging that data into an LLM to say, hey, do this more, and this is where you're really good at.
Maybe there's like data points that like that software wasn't looking for. Maybe the LLM can spot. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here.
Well, man, you know who does? Havana Woody actually uses Grok quite a bit. He was telling me, he's like, I just type my numbers into Grok and it tells me. That's
brilliant, dude.
Like profit targets and stuff like that.
Oh, that's fantastic. I gotta get on that, man. I definitely need to be a lot better with the data, and I literally mean a lot better because I'm very bad. Guys, I'm still holding FBGL. We got another higher low, but we're still getting that same selling in and around the low to mid 80s. Here we go again. We just breached 80. We weaseled up to 82. That's the last print that I had there, that 82. Now I'm waiting at 94s, a random area. There's really nothing, no resistance that I'm looking at front running except maybe that $2 psychological support. The reason I have it at 94 is I'd like the breach of 90. That is currently the high of the day. And if we're putting this ascending wedge with higher lows and essentially kind of a flat top, maybe around that mid 80s area, then doesn't it stand to reason that we break that 90 area? And then that's kind of what my thinking is, placing it a little bit above 90s, not too lofty in my expectations so as to reject to, or to get close to and reject, but not so low that, you know, it doesn't justify all this weight that I'm waiting for over here. So FBGL looks good to me. I think this is the best small cap gapper there is in the market right now, above $1 that is. I don't know anything below $1 because everything else is giving up the ghost, whether it's MLGO or GDHD, SES, RAY, TNON. The list goes on. All of them are either pulling back in ways that are not long friendly, or they're all below VWAP and not tradable under my system. So I'll keep my eye on FBGL, but it's also having trouble right now taking out that 80 penny level. We'll see for how long and whether or not I'll get stopped out below 66 before we get that flat top, if we get that flat top break at 190. So that's my look right now. That's what I see as the best possible option going into the closing show. I'm just looking quickly here at my scanner up on my top screen to see that there's no new small cap gappers. There's this DM one, but that's a buyout, so I'm not even going to tell you guys about that. It's a completely different type of trade. Yeah, I've really got nothing else over here. What do we got? There's about 3 seconds left on the show, Joe. Send them off.
Nice. Yeah, I'll send them off real quick here.
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside.
There you go.
I love it. There you go.
Hit that like, hit that subscribe, guys. Over 500. Much appreciated. If you can do that for us, that'd be fantastic. Really helps the channel a lot, guys.
Big boys.
I still need to shoot one, man. That's key. I actually want that. I need that button.
Be the fool one.
I want but I want a button for Joe's. I don't want to have to hit, like I can hit the old, I have your old one.
They just hit them over there whenever.
I have your old one.
Whenever they want.
Take this opportunity to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You won't be disappointed.